Part 77. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 761. Alien and Miss Zheng brought Hu into the country smoothly at Taipei Chiang Kai-shek Airport. What surprised Alien was that Lin Xiaofeng, who had promised to pick them up at the airport on the phone, did not come. Instead, a driver came, and he and Lian came. Lian said that Mr. Lin was temporarily busy and could not come. Miss Zheng said, "It doesn't matter, let's go home first and settle down before talking." They drove for more than 40 minutes to Zhongzheng Airport and arrived at a villa at the foot of Yangming Mountain. The villa was very big, as big as a building in their Huagang Hotel. Alien was dumbfounded. I never knew in this life that someone else's home could be so big. Alien asked Miss Zheng, "Is this Lin Xiaofeng's home?" Miss Zheng nodded and said yes. Alien felt like she was in a dream and her heart was beating wildly. "So, she will be the hostess here from now on?" As soon as they got off the bus, a group of servants came to greet her. Miss Zheng asked a servant to pick up Hu, carry her to his room, feed her milk, and then asked another servant if the room was ready. The servant agreed. "Then you all go down," Miss Zheng said to the servant. The servants all said yes. Miss Zheng took Alien to a room on the second floor and told Alien that you would live in this room. Alien was dumbfounded again. The room in front of her was very large, with floor-to-ceiling windows. Outside was the green Yangming Mountain. In front of the window, there was a large open bathtub. Sitting in the bathtub, you could sit and sit down. Take a bath and look at the beautiful scenery outside. The decoration of the entire room, Alien felt, was even more luxurious than the presidential suite at their Huagang Hotel. Miss Zheng and Alien said that you should take a good bath first and put your change of clothes in the closet. After washing, you can go to the living room downstairs to find me. Alien said yes. Alien soaked comfortably in the bathtub for more than half an hour. Then she got up. She walked to the closet door that Miss Zheng told her about. When she opened it, it was not a closet, but a wardrobe. There were clothes hanging all around the room, and there was a big mirror on the wall in the middle. Alien looked at the clothes on the hangers around her. They were all new clothes, even the tags were still there. It was obvious that Lin Xiaofeng had just bought them for herself. Alien felt a little touched in her heart. She walked around and tried, and finally chose a satin bathrobe to wear. Alien didn't know how rich people lived, but she saw those in movies and TV. Aren't noble ladies and ladies always wearing bathrobes at home after taking a bath? "This is my home, I am the hostess here, I just have to wear a bathrobe and wait for Lin Xiaofeng to come back at home." Alien put on the belt of her bathrobe and looked in the mirror. She felt that she looked very charming after putting on this bathrobe. She finally understood why the women in the movie wore bathrobes to welcome their children. My man who came back from outside turned out to be because of this. Alien looked at herself in the mirror and couldn't help but laugh. From now on, she would be like this every day at home waiting for Lin Xiaofeng. From now on, she would really become one of those noble ladies in the movies. How could she not be happy in her heart? Alien went downstairs wearing a bathrobe and slippers. She saw Miss Zheng already sitting on the sofa in the living room. What surprised Alien was that she saw Miss Zheng also wearing a bathrobe. She was no longer Alien. The business attire I'm used to. Miss Zheng had obviously just taken a shower and put on a little makeup. She looked very much like a noble lady in her bathrobe. Seeing Alien coming down, Miss Zheng stood up. She stretched out a hand, looked at Alien and said with a smile, "You are so beautiful." Alien hurried over, held Miss Zheng's hand and said, "Sister, you are also very beautiful." Miss Zheng led Alien to the sofa, asked her to sit down, and told her, "You're welcome. When you get here, it's like coming to your own home." After hearing this, Alien felt a little strange. Why did she feel like she was the owner here, and she became a guest. Alien looked around and saw that the servants and drivers who were in the house were now gone. Alien asked, "Where is Huhu?" Miss Zhang said, "I just went to see Huhu. He is very well behaved and has servants taking care of him. They are all specially trained. You don't have to worry." Alien felt more and more strange in her heart. She asked tentatively, "Sister, you are here and you have a room?" Miss Zhang looked at her and smiled, and said, "Of course, this is my home." Alien was shocked and asked, "Isn't this Lin Xiaofeng's home?" Miss Zhang looked at her and continued to smile slightly, "Yes, it is also his home. I am not his assistant, but his wife." "What?" Alien stood up like a thunderbolt. Miss Zhang also stood up, came over, put her arms around Alien's shoulders, and said to her softly, "Good sister, please sit down quickly and listen to me tell you slowly." Alien broke away from her. She persisted, hugged Alien again, and said angrily, "Why, you don't even recognize me as your sister?" Alien felt that she was completely stupid. She stood there blankly, looked at Miss Zhang, and asked stupidly, "Is everything you said true?" "Of course, I also tell you that he really works in a financial holding company now, but the boss of the financial holding company is not his father, but my father," Miss Zhang said. Alien felt that her whole body was weak. She felt that she was experiencing the most terrifying thing in her life, and she was alone in Taipei. The only people she knew in Taipei were this Miss Zhang, and that one Lin Xiaofeng, who has never shown up. What is going on and who are they? Miss Zhang pushed Alien to sit down on the sofa. She sat on the side and looked at Alien. Miss Zhang told Alien to drink water. Alien felt that her mind went blank. She mechanically picked up the cup on the coffee table and drank water one by one. She almost finished most of the glass of water. She felt that she had just finished drinking water. After she sobered up a little, she turned around and asked Miss Zhang, "Why did you join forces to lie to me? What are you going to do?" "Don't worry, we won't hurt you or Huhu. It's not too late for me to like you and Huhu. My good sister, you must believe my words, okay? Don't hurt me." Alien thought to herself, "You have already hurt me. You deceived me from Hangzhou to Taiwan, and then told me that the man I thought was my husband is actually your husband. Isn't this hurt?" Alien's heart trembled, and she immediately thought whether this Miss Zhang was taking revenge on herself. Lin Xiaofeng went to the mainland and told her that he was in love and got married. In fact, it was all to deceive herself, and his wife, but she thought she was seducing her husband. In order to get revenge, she deceived herself to Taiwan and took care of herself here? But looking at it like this, it doesn't seem like it. If she wants to take revenge on herself, since she has deceived herself here, in this big house, she will just ask people to beat her to death, scratch my face and disfigure it, and no one outside will know, let alone save her. Are you feeling better? Do you want to hear what I have to say?" Miss Zhang still asked in a soft voice. Alien felt that there was nothing more attractive to her than finding out what happened. She couldn't help but nodded. Miss Zhang is the only daughter of the boss of one of Taiwan's leading financial holding companies. "What kind of financial holding company?" "My dear sister, it's not convenient for me to tell you," Miss Zhang said to Alien. "Lin Xiaofeng is the senior vice president of a financial holding company and the son-in-law of his boss. They have been married for several years. Although they worked hard, Miss Zhang was never able to conceive a child. They also dare not see a doctor in Taiwan, because if the outside world knew that the only daughter of the owner of a financial holding company had gone to see a doctor for infertility, it would immediately cause huge fluctuations in the company's stock price. After all, their children are the future heirs of this giant company. Any disturbance will affect the confidence of investors. They could only go to Europe and the United States for examinations. The results of the examinations were consistent, that is, there was something wrong with Miss Zheng's chromosomes. Simply put, it was impossible for them to get pregnant, and the reason was not because of Lin Xiaofeng, but because of Miss Zheng. Although the whole family is extremely frustrated, they have to face the reality that this company is not allowed to have no heir. Not only is it not allowed to have no heir, but the heir must also be an excellent person in all aspects. They had thought about adopting a child, but the risk of adopting a child of unknown origin was too great. Not only was the risk high for the child itself, but also the child's biological parents were not sure whether they would suddenly come to the door again. Moreover, just the exposure of the adoption matter is something they cannot bear. If adoption is not possible, they can only find someone to carry the child as a surrogate. Taiwanese newspapers also exposed an incident, saying that a couple in the same situation as them opened a factory in mainland China and found a female worker in the factory to be a surrogate mother. Later, because the woman's family wanted more compensation, both parties without reaching an agreement, the woman's people came to the factory to cause trouble, and the matter was exposed. They were inspired and felt that if it was a surrogate pregnancy, it would be most suitable to go to the mainland. Only in the mainland, which was still a very closed environment at the time, could it be possible to avoid the eyes and ears of the public and remain unnoticed. Moreover, the baby was brought back at that time. It can be said that Miss Zheng gave birth to her in mainland China. Who would know this? If a man lets his husband sleep with someone else while he is still a beautiful girl, he will definitely not feel so disgusted in his heart if he doesn't say anything, but Miss Zheng finds it difficult to accept it. Her parents took turns to persuade her, and she finally figured out that after all, this was not a matter that only concerned her, and she had to face reality. Miss Zheng accepted, but there was one requirement, that is, she had to find this person by herself, otherwise, some random woman, whose husband slept with her, would come to sleep with her. How dirty and disgusting it would be. I am a woman too. Do you know how uncomfortable I felt when I agreed to do this? Miss Zheng said, her eyes turned red. Good sister, we are really destined. You may not know it yourself, but I liked you very much the first time I saw you. You always smile like that. Miss Zheng said to Alien, and Alien snorted. Really, when I saw you, I was thinking, if there is someone who is the biological mother of my child, I hope it is you. Alien really didn't know. She didn't know that Miss Zheng had actually been to Hangzhou and stayed at the Huagang Hotel. However, she moved to Shangri-La the next day. Next, she arranged for Lin Xiaofeng to start contacting Alien, the travel agency. Which was originally a subsidiary of their company. It was easy for Lin Xiaofeng to come in and out and do whatever he wanted to do. The reason why he wanted to join a travel agency as a tour leader was because this position allowed him to have the most contact with Alien and was also the most convenient. Sure enough, Alien followed their plan step by step. Miss Zheng told Alien about the matter, and Alien wanted to get up and go to Huhu. Miss Zheng stopped her and told her, just treat her as a helper sister, as long as Huhu stays. What do you want? Sister agrees to all the conditions. Shall I give you money? How much do you want? Alien shook her head. Don't you really want to come to Taiwan? I'll help you come to Taiwan, or to the United States, to Hong Kong, or wherever you want to go. Alien still shook her head. Then what do you want? Miss Zheng asked. I want to go home. I want to take Huhu away from here and go home. Huhu is my son. I will never leave him in my life. Don't try to take him away from me, Alien shouted loudly. Road. Miss Zheng let her go and told her that Huhu was no longer in the house. If you don't believe it, just go find it yourself. Alien looked at Miss Zheng, her eyes were burning, and she roared loudly, where did you take him? Return him to me quickly. Miss Zheng looked at her steadily, sighed, and said, I'm very pleased that you would react like this. To be honest, if you didn't react like this, I would have been worried about Huhu's genetic problems. Don't go crazy with me, give me my son back, Alien shouted. Miss Zhang looked at her and said, do you think if Huhu was your son, would he be able to come to Taiwan? There are procedures for every cat and dog to come in. What procedures did you do for Huhu? He doesn't even have a birth certificate. You don't even have a household registration, how did you go through the procedures? To tell you the truth, even if I give Huhu to you now, you can't take him out. You will only get yourself arrested, put in jail, and then sent away. One sentence made Alien feel cold from head to toe. Yes, Alien had stayed in a foreign-related hotel, so she still had basic common sense. She had been brainwashed by Miss Zheng and Lin Xiaofeng, saying that they would handle all the procedures. Why did you forget that Huhu is a person without identity? How can a person without identity enter and leave the country? But Huhu, now it is clear that the journey has been smooth, leaving the mainland unimpeded, and arriving in Taiwan unimpeded. Alien was stunned. Thanks to Brokeback Mountain, 8 Liang, Baby Tin Soldier, and On the Shore 131 for the rewards. Thank you Brokeback Mountain, Road, and Book Friends 2017101075308657 for your monthly votes. Thank you for all the votes and reading. Good afternoon everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 762. Alian remembered that whether she was leaving the country or entering the country, Miss Zheng and she took two different channels. When leaving the country, Miss Zheng told her that I am a Taiwanese compatriot, so it would be more convenient for me to take Huhu with me. They will ask random questions. When entering the country, she told Alien that I am Taiwanese and there is no need to queue at the immigration. You have to queue over there, Huhu, give it to me. Huhu was usually hugged more by Miss Zheng and less by Alien. It was the first time for Alien to go out of the country, so she couldn't help but feel a little nervous. Of course she was eager to have Sister Zheng by her side constantly helping her with ideas. Looking at it now they have already planned it. What Alien didn't know was that Huhu had already settled in Taipei a long time ago. He was from Taipei, so there would be no problem getting in and out. On the day Alien arrived in Shenzhen, the suite she stayed in was not a hospital ward at all, but the dormitory of the hospital's Taiwan Affairs office. Before Alien moved in, Ms. Zheng had already gone through the hospitalization procedures. The hospital didn't check the procedures anyway. I just wanted to see if there was any problem with the ID card. That hospital was funded by their family. The original purpose of opening this hospital was because the medical conditions in the mainland were not very good, and many of their customers had set up factories in the mainland. This hospital was opened to provide services to Taiwanese businessmen and cotters in the mainland. From doctors to deans, their financial holding company poached and sent them from National Taiwan University Hospital and Evergreen Hospital, and they are all well known on both sides of the Taiwan Strait. When Miss Zheng arrived here, she was naturally able to control the wind and rain. All of Alien's examinations were done at home by doctors and nurses, including the name of the woman who was finally sent to the delivery room and lying on the operating bed. Her name was also Zheng Liwen, not her, Alien. After Huhu was born, Huhu's birth certificate was issued by the hospital. The parents on it were also Zheng Liwen and Lin Xiaofeng. It was a Taiwan-funded hospital, and both parents were of Chinese nationality. Huhu's birth certificate did not even require notarization. It was notarized and registered after being sent back to Taiwan. The household registration book submitted by Ms. Zheng for entry and exit already had Huhu's name. Even if it doesn't, what does it matter? Miss Zheng and Alien said, your mainland has a bureaucratic politics, and our Taiwan has a black-gold politics. In Taiwan, there is nothing that our family can't do. Everything is done very formally, but we don't want to cause more trouble. People just pay attention. You said, Good sister, you said Hu is your son, what can you prove? Whether in mainland China or Taiwan, do you have anything that can prove that Hu is your son? Miss Zhang asked. Alien took a breath and felt that all her thoughts were lost. Miss Zhang was right. She really couldn't provide any proof. The only ones who could prove it were the few people in the neighborhood committee, but what they could prove, but you are too pregnant, how can you prove that the child in your belly is Hu? There was no DNA paternity test at that time, so no matter how smart the judge was to judge the case, if Hu was more affectionate to Miss Zhang than to Alien, he would probably think that Hu was Miss Zhang's son. So you have been holding Hu every day since the day he was born, just for this day? Alien looked at Miss Zhang and asked sadly. Ms. Zhang said that this was indeed the plan at the beginning, but it didn't take long for me to really fall in love with Hu. When his little hands touched my face, you know, my heart broke. Melted away. Many times, when I look at him, I feel like he really fell out of me. Alien sat there, her heart pounding, and tears streaming down her face. She felt that her son was getting farther and farther away from her, and she was about to lose her Hu. She didn't even have time to listen to him as a mother. One cry and she would lose him. Miss Zhang sat over, hugged Alien, and started to cry. She said, I know you are feeling very sad, and I know there is nothing I can do about it. People like me will be struck by lightning, but I can't do anything. Yes, just think of me as helping me, alright, Alien, just think of me as your biological sister, help me. I will give you money, I will give you a lot of money. Alien, I will give you $1 million. This money will allow you to go back to the mainland and you will not have to worry about it for the rest of your life. Alien, you can find a good man. Go give birth to another child. Okay Alien, you are young and you can still give birth, but there is nothing you can do about it, Alien. Alien kept shaking her head. She said no, I won't sell my son. Why are you so stupid? Alien, you didn't sell your son. Hu is also Lin Xiaofeng's son. Hu is here with his father, not with other people. Alien, he is just thinking about Hu. Do you think it's better for him to stay here or go back to Hangzhou with you? The two women hugged each other and cried bitterly. Alien felt that Zheng Liwen at least had something in her heart. Hu was here with his father. Although that father was a bastard, the bastard's father was also a father. Isn't his father also an asshole? She was saying that it was impossible to be with Lin Xiaofeng. Hu was destined to either leave his father or his mother. Hu, what should you do? Alien, do you believe that sister will be very kind to Hu? Zheng Liwen asked crying. Alien shook her head and nodded again. She felt that at this point, she had no way to say she didn't believe it. Alien, I will let Hu receive the best education and study in the best university in the world. I will make your son Hu become a great person. Alien, don't worry. The two women just hugged each other and cried. The sky outside turned dark, and the entire Yangmingshan, Taipei, and Taiwan fell into the night. They chattered in the darkness. Zheng Liwen promised Alien that she would let Alien see Hu every year. As long as Alien did not reveal her identity as Hu's biological mother, she would definitely let Alien see her Hu every year. The two of them cried themselves to sleep on the sofa. When they woke up, Alien agreed to Zheng Liwen. She felt that she had no other choice but to agree. She asked Zheng Liwen to let Hu sleep with her every day while she was in Taipei, and she would feed Hu milk every day. Zheng Liwen said yes, I promise you. In the following days, just like when they were in Shenzhen and Hangzhou, Zheng Liwen took her and Hu to play in Taipei every day and eat delicious food. Zheng Liwen bought her many things. She only needed to touch them with her hands, or when asked about something, Zheng Liwen would definitely buy it and give it to her. Sometimes, when the two of them were walking on the street pushing a stroller, and saw the police approaching from the opposite side, Alien would have the urge to shout for help, but she restrained herself in the end. Zheng Liwen was right. Even if she shouted, she would have no way to prove that she had any relationship with Hu when she went to the police station. There was only one result: she would be deemed to be a woman of unclear mind and she would be deported. And from then on, she never wanted to see her son again. Zheng Liwen said that there is nothing she can't do in Taiwan. Alian believes that she is nothing in Taiwan. She can't even compare to a fly. At least a fly is still a fly in Taiwan, and she is the one who entered Taiwan. According to the certificate, the number of days you can stay in Taiwan is getting shorter and shorter day by day, and people who are destined to leave Taiwan are eventually destined to leave Taiwan. On the last day, Zheng Liwen took a suitcase of US dollars and wanted to give it to Alien, but Alien refused to accept it. She said, "I can't ask for this money. If I do, I feel that Hu has been sold by me. I will never forgive myself for the rest of my life." Zheng Liwen thought for a moment, and took out $10 from which box of money she had. She said, "I understand you, but you must accept this, treat it as if it was given to you by your sister. When you go back, you can't even work. No more. What will you do if you don't have money? Sister, please accept it, otherwise I will be very sad when I think about it." When Zheng Liwen said this, Alien didn't refuse anymore. Alien returned to Hangzhou. When her parents saw her coming back, Hu didn't come back, so they asked her what was wrong. Where was Hu? Alien said, "I sold Hu." They knew she was joking, but looking at Alien's face, they also knew that there must be nothing good going on with her in Taiwan. Alien must have had a quarrel with Lin Xiaofeng and returned to Hangzhou. This was a disgrace. Alien's father said, "Okay, just sell it, where's the money?" Alien glared at him and threw the $100,000 in front of him. The two of them didn't know US dollars, but they knew the numbers. They knew that this knife was $10,000, and $10 was $100,000. Her father took a knifeful of US dollars and looked at them over and over, muttering in his mouth, saying that the Kuomintang reactionaries were traitors. It was true. Even the money was printed with foreigners. Who was this foreigner? He was the work of Bal Chang. Dad. No matter how worried Alian was, she was almost amused by her father. She cursed, "Taiwan money, this is American money. So how much does this dollar cost in China?" At the front desk of Huagang Hotel, what Alian saw every day was the foreign exchange price on the wall behind her. She blurted out, 3.74. "How much?" Dad asked. $3.74. $1 is worth our $3.74. Is that enough? Alien shouted to her father, and the two of them were shocked. So many, that is to say, there are more than 300,000 here? Alien's father quickly went to the door to see if anyone was there. Alien's mother scolded Alien, "What's your name? Are you afraid that others will hear it?" Alien's father came back and said quickly, "Put it away, put it away, put the money away quickly, don't let anyone see it." Alien turned around and went back to her room. Early the next morning, Alien's father went to the Bank of China to confirm whether what Alien said was true. When he walked to the door, he saw several scalpers holding the same money as him. He went up to ask, and quickly ran back happily. As soon as he entered the door, he shouted to Alien's mother, "Wrong, wrong, it's not 3 yuan and 74 cents. The scalper was charging 85 yuan in front of the Bank of China. Real?" Alien's mother was also startled and asked in disbelief. Alien's father took out a wad of money from his pocket and said to her mother, "I brought 2 of them. Did you see it? If you get so much in exchange, then what? The scalper also told me that I could exchange as much as I had, and if there was more, he could add some money." Alien's mother couldn't believe it. In the next few days, Alien was in the room, and every day she heard her parents chattering outside. Either they said it had gone up, or it had dropped a little today. What the two people were talking about was the price of US dollars on the black market every day. When Alien walked out, the two of them shut up. When Alien left, the two of them started chattering again. One day, Alien couldn't bear it anymore and ran out and slapped the table and cursed, "Money, money, money, what else do you have besides money? Why don't any of you care about Hoo-Hoo?" "Tisk," his father said disdainfully, "if Hoo-Hoo follows his father, what will happen? Do we still need to care? That is his biological father. Since you were a child, has your father ever treated you badly?" "That is," Alien's mother said from the side. Alien rushed back to the room, tears kept flowing. She felt that Zheng Liwen was right again. It was better for Hoo-Hoo to return to such a home than to stay in Taiwan. Alien returned to Hangzhou and never left. Lin Zhaofeng never showed up again. The neighbors inevitably started to talk. Some people couldn't help it and asked her mother, "Why didn't Alien go to Taiwan?" Alien heard her mother and neighbors say, "You have never been to Taiwan. You don't know that Taiwan is very scary. Where is Taiwan better than Hangzhou? The tap water in Taiwan is stinky. When we get there, Alien, ouch, I have diarrhea every day and I vomit everything I eat." Our vicious son-in-law called her every day to urge her to go, but she didn't dare to go. She vomits everything she eats. Does that mean her belly has been enlarged by Taiwanese people again? A neighbor shouted, and everyone laughed. She couldn't go back to her workplace, and it was hard for Alien to go out and look for a job, letting her neighbors see her going to and from get off work like everyone else every day. Her mother has already boasted that her Taiwanese son-in-law is a boss of a certain city. She has been raising her as a daughter-in-law since she was a child. She is not allowed to do any heavy work. She is tender and tender, otherwise how could the big boss take a fancy to her? She is destined to be a rich wife. The rich lady Alien didn't have a penny in her pocket. Ever since her parents knew the value of US dollars, they had taken away all the US dollars she had. Even a US dollar coin was taken away from her wallet by her father. The Taiwan dollar was not spared, and the remaining RMB was finally spent. With no job and no money, the rich lady Alien could not speak to her parents. As soon as she opened her mouth, her parents picked up the phone and asked her to call Lin Zhaofeng. Her father said that there is no reason to leave his wife here and have to we raise you, and you only get 1 copper per month, and you don't even send us any money. How dare you talk to us? That's it, her mother said from the side. Thank you for the reward, Ba Liang, ranked third from top to bottom. Thank you Zhengguang Ion Exchange Resin Ping for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 763. That guy surnamed Lin, you have been in Taipei for so many days and he never showed up, Lu Ligan asked. No, Alien said. What happened after that? You never saw him again. Alien shook his head, and Lu Ligan thought to himself, it's actually not surprising, even Zheng Liwen probably doesn't hope that her husband will have the opportunity to meet Alien again. This is the way Alien and her returned. When she arrived in Hangzhou, she took over everything completely, and there was no reason why Lin never showed up again. Alien snorted, and Lu Ligan looked at her. It was already dawn outside, and the two of them were still sitting on the carpet, with their backs against the bed. The West Lake outside is blurry and hazy. Even the rising sun doesn't know where it is hiding and refuses to come out. The West Lake is not sparkling, but a bit cold and glamorous. Although we haven't contacted him again, you know, the first time I did this, The customer was introduced by him. Alien said. How could this happen? Luli asked curiously. It was an evening, the phone at home rang, and Alien answered it. The person on the phone told Alien that he was from Taiwan and had a friend who asked him to bring a message. He hoped to meet Alien face to face. Lian said. Alien thought it was Zheng Liwen who asked him to come, and it was related to Hu. She asked clearly about the hotel and room number where the other party stayed. It was at Wanghu Hotel, and Alien went there. When we got to the other party's room, there was a man in his 40s who looked very kind. Alien asked him if you were Zheng Liwen's friend. The other party said no, he was Lin Xiaofeng's friend. As soon as Alien heard this, she wanted to leave, but the other party refused to let her go. He asked her to sit for a while, but he said, don't worry, just wait until I finish talking. The other party took out a large stack of money, put it on the coffee table, and told Alien that he was at Lin Xiaofeng's place and saw Alien's photo. He really liked her so much that he thought about her day and night. There was no way he could forget her. He couldn't forget it. This time he had the opportunity to come to Hangzhou for business. He begged Lin Xiaofeng for an introduction, and Lin Xiaofeng gave him the phone number. Alien, the other party knew that her name was Alien, and the other party said, Alien, just take pity on me and stay with me, and all the money will be yours. Alien stood up and wanted to leave, but she looked at the pile of money and felt like she couldn't move. She was really too poor and had been poor for too long. She was worried about money every day. Zheng Liwen called her and told her that she would take Hu to Hong Kong next month. If possible, she would like to meet Alien in Hong Kong, and Alien could also meet Hu. Alien said she was fine, but she was feeling empty in her heart. In her pocket, she couldn't even get out the dozens of dollars she needed to go to the Public Security Bureau to apply for a Hong Kong and Macau pass, so how could she go to Hong Kong? It was impossible for her to get a penny from her parents. She would only get ridiculed. It was also impossible for her to tell Zheng Liwen, I don't have any money in my pocket. Can you send me some money? Alien would never be able to say such a thing even to death. Alien hesitated, and the other party knew that there was an opportunity, and told Alien, you can accompany Lin Xiaofeng, but what will happen if you just accompany me? God knows what you know and I know. It turned out that Lin Xiaofeng and his friends talked about him in this way, making his friends think that he was doing this. Alien sneered in her heart, yes, she had let that bastard Lin Xiaofeng do it, and it was all in vain. You only did it for money. What would happen if you do it again? Just lie there and close your eyes. Alien took the money home, feeling that it was not safe to put it anywhere, as her parents would find it, and it would be over if they found out. This was her life, and it was money to go see Hu. That night, she put the stack of money under her pillow, worried that when she fell asleep, her mother would come in and touch her under the pillow. She had done this before, and Alien didn't even dare to sleep. She would go out at dawn. I walked out of my house, sat by the West Lake, and waited until the bank opened. I quickly went in and opened a passbook to save the money. I only had $100 left on me. I didn't dare to take my passbook with me. When I got home, I wrapped the passbook in a plastic bag, moved the chest of drawers from the room, attached the plastic bag to the wall with rubber glue, then moved the chest of drawers back and pressed it down. In the evening of the same day, the Taiwanese called again and Alien went again. Later, people from Taiwan often called Alien, and Alien went there. Gradually, she began to have some money. Many things are like this. They seem difficult, but once you do it the first time, it won't be so difficult the second time. The more times you do it, the more you do it, and it becomes a habit, right? What more face do I need? My face is gone a long time ago. I earned it all by myself. I can't even protect my own son, so why should I use it to gain face? It's really funny. Alien sneered. Lu Ligan asked, have you ever thought that this might be another trap designed by Lin? If you do this, he will have something in his hands. If you want to do something, he can report you at any time and send you to jail, so you can't threaten him. Alien was startled for a moment and whispered, maybe, I haven't thought about it, but even if I knew it was his trap at that time, I would still fall into it. I need money so much. Alien said and sighed. Did you see your son later? Lu Ligan asked. It didn't happen that time. Zhen Liwen called me and said that their plans had changed. Alien said, at the end of the year, I saw her, and she was still in Hong Kong. How about it? Ha, how about it? My son didn't recognize me when he saw me. Zhen Liwen asked me to hug him. When I hugged him, he cried non-stop, so I had to give him back to Zhen Liwen. Lu Ligan thought to himself, what kind of meeting is this? They just want to make you feel heartbroken every time you see him. What about the second time? Lu Ligan asked. The second time we met was 3 years later, that is, last year. Hu could talk, but of course he didn't recognize me. When we had dinner together, he called Zhen Liwen mommy and my auntie. Every time he called me, my heart felt like being pricked by a needle. However, Zhen Liwen did take care of Hu very well. He is well behaved, sensible, and very polite to others. For such a young person, even when the waiter brings him something, he never forgets to say thank you every time. As Alien spoke, she laughed and said, you haven't seen what he looks like. He is a little guy with a lot of style. He wears overalls and his hair is combed back like this. He has a big back and hair wax. Whether we are going to eat or shopping, every day whenever I see him, I will look at him twice, and there is indescribable love in his eyes. What happened next? Did we meet again later? Lu Ligan asked. Alien lowered her head, standing on the carpet with her slender fingers, crossing her fingers and walking forward step by step, walking away, crossing her fingers again, and stepping back step by step. Lu Ligan looked at her like this, a little naughty and funny. Lu Lirod wanted to laugh, but couldn't. Both of them were silent. Alien's fingers no longer crossed each other, but scratched on the carpet, as if the slender fingers were a match. Lu Ligan was worried that she would be lit on fire. Later, just a few days ago, Zhen Liwen called me and said that they would go to Hong Kong to celebrate the New Year and asked me if I would go to celebrate the New Year with them. I told her, no, we don't need to meet again in the future. Alien said. You don't want to see your son anymore? Alien shook her head, I don't want to see you anymore. Why? Alien looked at him and smiled miserably, it's better not to have a mother like this. After Alien finished speaking, she jumped up. She stretched out her hand towards Lu Ligan, and Lu Ligan held her hand. She said hi, pulled Lu Ligan up, and told him, we are sleepy, go to sleep. Lu Ligan said yes. The two of them lay on the bed. Alien turned her back to Lu Ligan and said to him, hug me. Lu Ligan hugged her from behind, and her body shrank into Lu Ligan's arms. For the first time in so many days, Lu Ligan felt that she was a little skinny. Alien sighed and quickly fell asleep. When Lu Ligan woke up, Alien had already woken up and even put on her clothes. She sat in front of the floor-to-ceiling glass against the light and looked at Lu Ligan quietly. Lu Ligan sat up and asked, what are you looking at? Alien smiled and said, I'm waiting for you to wake up, I'm leaving, okay. Lu Li got out of bed and said yes, will we meet again in the future? Alien thought for a while and said, I still don't want it. You know too many things about me. Mao will be embarrassed if we meet again. When Alien spoke, a sentence naturally transitioned from Mandarin to Hangzhou dialect. Hangzhou dialect is like this. When girls speak, they are gentle and graceful. If you listen to it too much, it will make you fascinated. Lu Ligan said yes, then we won't meet. Do you know, Alien said, I have never told anyone these things. Really, you are the only one who knows these things about me. Do you believe it? Luligan nodded and said, I believe it. By the way, I want to give you a little more money, is that okay? Why? Alien asked with a smile and tilted her head. Luligan also laughed. He thought for a moment and said to Alien, let's buy out the copyright of your story and ask you not to talk about these things with other people from now on. Alien looked at him and nodded, okay, deal. Luligan stood up, walked over and took out his bag from the cabinet, and took out a bag of money. Originally, he wanted to go from Hangzhou to Guangzhou, and then from Guangzhou to Guizhou to find Chen Qiang and find Li. Now it seems that they can't find what Yang used, and the money can't be used. Luligan gave the bag of money to Alien. When Alien saw it, she was shocked, so much. Take it, Luligan said, this little money can buy your story, it's very cheap. Okay, Alien took the money and said somewhat self-deprecatingly, actually, I am very greedy for money now. You don't need to find such an excuse, I will also want it. She looked at Luligan and said, you are a good person, what a pity. What's a pity? I didn't meet you when I was 18. Luligan laughed and said, when I was 18 years old, I didn't even have a pair of decent pants. When I walked to the door of Huagang Hotel, I didn't dare to walk in. Don't worry, even if we bump into each other, it won't matter. It won't happen, you won't fall in love with me. Yes, Alien remembered that when she was 18 years old, she was innocent, beautiful, and would smile when she saw a bee. When I was 18 years old, I was so proud. Who could I look up to? The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 764. After Alien left, Luligan fell on the bed again. The sun came out and shone on his face and body through the window. He felt a little hot. He didn't know whether it was the sun or the air conditioner. The central air conditioner in the hotel usually stops for a period of time when a large number of guests have checked out in the middle of the night and 90 o'clock in the morning, and the waiter is cleaning the room. Then it starts up again, spraying heating into the room. Luligan stared at the fan mouth and the red ribbon tied to the aluminum alloy grill, watching it fluttering in the wind. I stretched out and fell back to myself, and threw myself out again, and alone/in the great storm. Luligan thought of Rilke's poem and the word heart flag fluttering. He didn't know whose heart flag would be red, like this red ribbon. At least not his. Luligan was lying there on his back, feeling exhausted, empty-hearted, a little panicked, a little astringent, and a little unsure of his direction. He had this feeling before when he really devoted himself to writing a play or a novel. Yes, whether you are writing a play or a novel, you are experiencing other people's lives. How can you not sweat profusely? Of course, the sweating comes from the heart. Luligan feels that when the heart is tired or empty, the heart will also sweat. When you are truly immersed in reading novels, watching movies, and listening to other people's stories, aren't you also experiencing other people's lives? As long as you are not an insensitive person, your heart will be tense, depressed, excited, shed tears, sweat, and even bleed. When Luligan woke up again, it was already dark outside. I don't know when the waiter came in. He thoughtfully covered him with a blanket, closed the curtains, and turned on the night light. There was a dim light inside. Luligan hadn't eaten anything all day, and he was feeling groggy. He didn't know if he was starving. He twitched his nose and smelled the tempting aroma of apples. He turned around and saw a fruit plate on the bedside table. The waiter brought it in. Luligan was half lying on the bed, with his feet still hanging outside the bed. He bent his feet, raised them to the bed, pushed with his heels, and stretched his body forward on the bed, and then stretched out his hand. You can reach the fruit plate on the bedside table with your hand. He grabbed an apple and took a big bite. Lying there on his back, he finished eating an apple. He felt much better. He sat up, thinking that by this time, Zhang Chen and the others should have returned to Hangzhou. He stood up, walked to the cabinet, opened the door, and opened the door. I took out the big brother from the bag. As soon as big brother opened, Zhang Chen's call came in, cursing, it finally got through, where are you? Wanghu Hotel, Lu Ligan said. Holy shit, why are you going to Wanghu Hotel? Just play tricks, New Year's Eve. You, are you coming to eat hot pot? Come on, where are you? Yan'an Road, Xiao Zhao's office. Okay, we'll be there soon. Lu Ligan imitated Li Yang's Nanjing dialect and laughed loudly after speaking. Lu Ligan went downstairs, walked to the gate of Wanghu Hotel, and looked towards the unfinished Esprit store. He didn't see the figure. Lu Ligan felt a little disappointed, but also a little happy. He didn't know it either. What to be happy about? While he was standing there waiting for the bus, he remembered that he still didn't know whether it was Alian or Alan, but he was already sure that there would be no other names. A gust of wind blew, and Lu Ligan trembled. The door to Xiao Zhao's office was closed, and Lu Li pushed it in. He saw a rice cooker on the coffee table, and next to it was a coffee table dish. Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao and Xiao Wan were sitting there eating hot pot. There is an empty seat next to Xiao Wan. The dishes, chopsticks, and cups are all set. It belongs to him. Afraid of getting burned by the oil fumes, Zhang Xiangbei's stroller was pushed a meter or two away from them. Zhang Xiangbei saw Lu Ligan coming in, waving his hands and shouting happily. Lu Ligan clapped his hands and said to Zhang Chen, "Please lend me 2,000 yuan quickly." "What for?" Zhang Chen asked, but he still took out his wallet from his hip pocket and threw it over. "Xiao Zhao, do you have any red envelopes?" Lu Ligan asked. "In the drawer," Xiao Zhao said. It was the leftovers he bought when giving red envelopes to the waiter below. Lu Ligan opened the drawer, took out a red envelope, opened Zhang Chen's wallet, counted 2,000 from it, and threw the wallet back to Zhang Chen. Lu Ligan stuffed the money into the red envelope, walked over and handed it to Zhang Xiangbei, and said to him, "Come on, Bai Bei, it's a red envelope from Dad." "Don't give it to him, he will stuff it in his mouth," Xiao Zhao shouted. Zhang Xiangbei had already taken the red envelope and was about to stuff it into his mouth. Lu Ligan quickly grabbed his hand. Zhang Xiangbei looked at him angrily. Lu Ligan moved his face towards Zhang Xiangbei and grabbed Zhang Xiangbei's hand. Xiangbei held the red envelope in his little hand and patted his face. "Come on, hit here." The thick red envelope hit Lu Ligan's face, making a slapping sound. Zhang Xiangbei chuckled. Lu Ligan let go of his hand again, and he slapped Lu Ligan's face with the red envelope, smiling happily. "With." The three people here also laughed, and Zhang Chen said, "Okay, just squat there and don't eat." Xiao Zhao stood up, walked to the table, took two empty red envelopes from the drawer, walked over, and snatched the red envelope from Zhang Xiangbei's hand. Zhang Xiangbei was about to cry when Xiao Zhao said, "Okay, Bei Bei, this is for you." She put an empty red envelope into Zhang Xiangbei's hand. Zhang Xiangbei waved it and felt that it didn't feel right and was about to cry again. Xiao Zhao quickly said, "Come on, I'll give you another one." He stuffed another empty red envelope into Zhang Xiangbei's left hand. Zhang Xiangbei held a red envelope in one hand and looked left and right. He felt that he had two red envelopes in his hand. He felt that his heart was balanced and he no longer cared about Lu Ligan. He stuffed the red envelope into his mouth and bit into it angrily. Lu Ligan sat in front of the hot pot, and Xiao Wan stood up. She said, "I should go out and take a look." Zhang Chen looked at Lu Ligan and asked, "Why are you so miserable? You don't even have any cash on you." Lu Ligan said, "What should I do? Red envelopes cannot be swiped by credit card, so I have to swipe the card." "Okay, Go get 200,000, Zhang Chen said with a smile. That's a nice thought. Unlike you, my son won't exploit his father like this, Lu Ligan scolded. Yeah, Zhang Chen nodded. You, the dad, will only take money from me, the dad, and then give him red envelopes. I borrowed it and will pay it back to you, Granddad, Lu Ligan cursed. Xiao Zhao looked at Lu Ligan and said, banks are closed these days, how can you survive without cash? I have it in my drawer. I'll take 10,000 later. Lu Ligan said, okay, did you see that these two people were lying on the same bed? Their thoughts were very different. Thank you, Xiao Zhao, remember to remind me later. Xiao Zhao smiled and said, okay, I will remind you. The three people raised their glasses, clinked them, and said Happy New Year in unison. Xiao Zhao took a sip, and Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen had sex. When did you come back from Guangzhou? Zhang Chen asked. I came back the next day, but I couldn't find my cousin who had set sail. He was no longer at the train station. His colleagues said he went to work in Macau. Damn it, the clues were completely lost now. Zhang Chen asked, then you are staying at Wanghu Hotel? Yes. Brother, why don't you open it? I thought you disappeared again. I'm hiding from you. I'm so annoying. You keep asking me to go back to Yongcheng all day long. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao smiled and didn't ask any more questions. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said that they had visited his home and that your parents were very good. I lied to them that you went to Hong Kong. Yeah, that's a good trick, Lu Ligan said while eating yuba. Zhang Chen told him about Wu Kai again, and Zhang Chen said that Wu Kai still talks about friendship. Lu Ligan became proud again. He said, of course, the products from my company will still make mistakes. Zhang Chen wanted to scold him, but Wei Wenfang was a little unhappy. She also came from your company. After thinking about it, Zhang Chen didn't say anything. He concluded in his heart that Wei Wenfang and Wu Zayawai would definitely get into trouble because of this on their way back to Tonglu. Even so, Zhang Chen felt that he could still understand Wei Wenfang. A bottle of mutai cost 150 yuan. At this time, for her, the first thing that came to her mind was not necessarily the 150 yuan, but 30. The packages are given away for free. 5 boxes of 30 bottles of Maotai liquor are given away for free. That means 900 packages are given away for free. Where is the youth treasure? Just like when I first opened my shop, when I went to the market gate to buy a lunchbox and added an extra piece of steak, I would naturally think that a piece of clothing was sold for nothing. When eating the steak, I felt that what I was biting was not meat, but the hard work that I and Xiao Zhao went through when selling each piece of clothing. This is not an abstract number, but a picture. Zhang Chen had seen the pile of New Year's goods in Wu Zayawai's car. Although they were large in quantity, they were all cheap goods. When Wei Wenfang bought these, he must have been thinking about how many packages he had given away for free, just like he did back then. And how many packages were given away for free. The difficulties of starting a business are similar, and everyone who has started a business can understand it. However, there is one thing that Zhang Chen would not have thought of. Wei Wenfang has always been like this, not today. Her frugality is because in her eyes, money is not calculated in yuan, but in terms of what her father gave her. The shipping cost of briquettes is calculated. When she was a child, her father delivered coal, and she helped push the cart. When the coal arrived, her father was helping the buyer unload the coal. Wei Wenfang stood aside, staring at the buyer, watching her folding the coal from the coated paper of People's Pictorial into a wallet. He gave her a dime for the shipping fee. At that time, Wei Wenfang's biggest wish was that it would be great if she could get one for herself. But such a good thing has never happened. Xiao Wan went in and out, sat down to eat for a while, and then stood up and asked to go out and take a look. She sat down, twitched her nose, and asked Xiao Zhao with some doubts, Sister Xiaozhao, do you smell spicy on me? Taste? What? Xiaozhao asked. Xiaowan said, I just walked in front of a customer and she sneezed. The four people all laughed. Xiaozhao twitched her nose and cursed in her heart. She actually smelled the spicy smell from her clothes. When she raised her head and smelled it, the whole room seemed to be filled with spicy smell. She quickly stood up. I walked over and opened the window, letting in a blast of crisp cold air, which made me feel better. When she walked back, she looked towards Zhang Xiangbei and exclaimed ah. In fact, the three people turned around and laughed. They saw that the two red envelopes had been bitten into pieces by Zhang Xiangbei and scattered on the floor. Zhang Xiangbei's mouth was red, and his face and hands were stained with red. He was looking at them with a victor's attitude and smiled proudly. Thank you to Chiang 2K, Bustling Farce, Cup Guy API, Tiger, Pai Wuzun, and Book Friends 130221184047110 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Happy Wednesday to everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 765. In the next few days, Lu Ligan's company has not yet started work, and the workers at Zhang Chen's factories on both sides of Sanbeo and Tianta Road have not returned yet, nor have they started work. Only Lao Wan and Zheng Huiyang are still on duty in the factory. Some of their specialty stores, like those in Hangzhou, are open during the Spring Festival and need to restock. Wu Ziyawai and the others have not returned yet, and the driver Xiao Sheng has returned. After going home, Lao Wan went to distribute it himself. Like last year, Lao Wan did not go home during the Spring Festival this year. Lao Wan did not want to go home. He had already told Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen knew a thing or two. Zheng Huiyang also took the initiative to ask for overtime during the Spring Festival. If she refused to go home, there would be no one. I know, Xiao Zhao asked her. She kept talking for a long time, but Xiao Zhao didn't understand the reason. Xiao Zhao goes to the Yan'an Road store every day. The Yan'an Road store is busier than usual in the first month. Although the turnover has not increased significantly, there are many more people than usual. Most of them take advantage of the holidays to come out shopping. These people go to the streets not to buy anything, and they don't have any extra money in their pockets. During the Spring Festival, they have already planned to spend all the money they usually save. But their enthusiasm for playing and taking pictures has not diminished. Zhang Chen and his half-acre field has become a popular spot for taking pictures. They went to Wulanman Square and turned around to take a look. It was just right. Lu Ligan also brought a camera and called Zhang Chen. The two of them drove a car and took Zhang Xiangbei around aimlessly in the city. When they saw a dilapidated factory or a large store somewhere, Lu Ligan he stopped the car and took photos. Zhang Chen didn't know what he was doing at first, so when he asked him, Lu Ligan laughed and said, "Be a police dog, looking for prey." Zhang Chen understood that he was looking for land again and wanted to start a new project. He cursed, "You haven't completed a splendid home yet, and you haven't started construction of splendid Xiangting and splendid Jiangnan yet. Now you have to find a new one. Aren't you afraid of being overwhelmed by your project? There is no way, brother, you think that I am you and can stop. If you stop, the money is still coming in. I am lying down, sitting, standing, walking, even squatting in the toilet. Every minute, every second, all the money was flowing out. I could hear the sound of money flowing out even in my sleep. What have you done? The money is flowing out." Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. "The 80 million yuan of Nanyang Bank is lying in the account. Do you think that is money? It is from the ancestors. The interest is a few 10% per year. It is more than 8 million yuan a year. Calculate for me, how much will it be in one day? How much is an hour, how much is a second, is it flowing? When Lu Ligan said this, Zhang Chen did the math for him and was shocked. This day would cost more than 20,000 yuan in interest, and every minute would cost more than 10 yuan. It was really a lot, Zhang Chen said. You can't use it, you can't live without it, you found the ancestor for yourself, who do you have to blame? It's true that you are rich and rich. You are damn suitable to stay in Sanbeo. Jason and Chu Tianlin are right. This money, looking at it this way, is not cost effective, but if you use it, it's a good deal and you won't feel stressed. Also, once the pipeline between this and the bank is established, it will be worth more than money. What's it worth? Zhang Chen asked. I've always had banks come to me, but I've never gone to a bank. Okay, you're awesome, Lu Ligan rolled his eyes at him and continued. As long as the pipeline is established, if it's 80 million today and I want 800 million tomorrow, they will give it to me. Who else will have so much money except the bank? Our real estate is different from your clothing. Take 10 yuan, buy a piece of cloth and you can make it at home. Either we don't need it or we need a lot of money. I am not short of money now, but I still want to take their money. This is also putting bait. If the bait is put down, and the bank gets used to it, it will be caught by me. It looks like I am working for them, but in fact, as long as I make good use of their money, I am using their money to make money for myself. Okay, you are awesome, how are you going to take advantage of it? I'm going to turn all the money into land. As long as 1 or 2 pieces of land are turned into projects, the money will be earned back. Just sit in the car obediently and feed Zhang Xiangbei by yourself if you have nothing to do. Hey, do you have any milk? Lu Ligan shouted. Zhang Chen glared at him and ignored him. He understood what Lu Ligan wanted to do, but he felt that running around like a headless fly didn't make much sense. The next day, Fan Jiangguo joined their team. After Fan Jiangguo joined, the situation became much more orderly. They liked a place, and Fan Jiangguo would go down, walk around, and call uncle and aunt in Hangzhou dialect. Lu Ligan asked him to understand clearly the situation of this factory or this place, especially to find out which system it belonged to. This is much better than the 2 outsiders. Hangzhou people are still a bit xenophobic. When they ask, people always ignore them. They bought several maps of Hangzhou and circled the places they visited with pens and numbered them. Lu Ligan also bought a book and left 2 pages for each number. Fan Jiangguo asked about the situation. Are written below the number. Lu Ligan shook the map and said to Zhang Chen, this is my real estate map of Hangzhou. This map may become a precious cultural relic in the future. I want to fill every corner of Hangzhou with my projects. Old Bao and Old Nai have already reached an agreement. After I get to work, I will take over 2 factories. Zhang Chen listened to what Lu Ligan said and felt that what he said seemed to make sense, but also felt that it was a bit too big and empty. He always felt that if you have a horse, you can ride on it and drive it. There are 3 horses. You organize them into a carriage, and you can still control it. But if there are dozens or hundreds of horses, how do you control them? Thousands of horses galloping, although the momentum is amazing, but if not, it will trample people to death. Zhang Chen himself didn't know whether he was too conservative in many cases. That's why he felt that Lu Ligan and Meng Ping were too forward. They had no intention of controlling the horse at all, because they themselves were like they are wild horses that have been imprisoned for too long. As long as they are given grassland, they will definitely break free. No one can restrain them. Zhang Chen sighed. Zhang Chen had not had a good year this year. There was a faint uneasiness in his heart. He did not tell Lu Ligan or Xiao Zhao that since the end of last year, Longxiangqiao's Xinjiang market had like Sijiking, many brands suddenly emerged. Like Benmushan, they also began to engage in franchising and chain franchises. Xiang Qin from Wuhu and Wang Lichhan from Mianshan pretended to be customers, visited several stores, and brought Zhang Chen their franchise agreement. Zhang Chen saw that the agreement was almost copied from theirs in its entirety, and there was nothing wrong with it. Updated content. Even if they open specialty stores all over the country, Zhang Chen is not afraid of competition. He remembers something Lu Ligan said casually, but he may have forgotten it himself. Lu Ligan once said, he said, "I started earlier than others, and now the competition is my ability to run on the road." There is no sprint in running a business. Once you sprint, you will reach the end, and you will be finished. Zhang Chen felt that this was a good saying. He started earlier than others, and if he could run faster than others, he would certainly not be afraid of them. What makes Zhang Chen feel uneasy is that these brands are probably trying to attract people to join. They also know that the biggest temptation for people who want to join is the exchange rate, so they all focus on the exchange rate. When it comes to articles, no one has a 10% exchange rate like Zhang Chen and others. They all start at 20%, and some have reached 40%. They are also ignorant and fearless. They don't know how terrible the exchange rate is. With Zhang Chen's 10% exchange rate and the strict control of Zheng Huiyang's group, Zhang Chen felt that the inventory was a bit too large, 20% to 40%. They didn't know the inventory. Will it crush people to death? Clothing is no different from other products. It is popular. If it is popular this year, it will not be popular next year. A style and fabric that is fashionable this year will be outdated or out of fashion next year. If you give it to others for free, no one will want it. Wearing, let alone buying, outdated clothes is what people in Hangzhou call a time lapser. You will not attract people's attention, you will only be despised. We are no longer in the age of being naked. The decorative nature of clothing has long replaced its functionality. When it comes to clothing, if you are in line with fashion, the sales will be like a flood. If it is out of date, it will not sell, no matter how hard it is, it will not sell, and no matter how much discount it is, it will be useless. The well-known clothing brands in the world are well aware of this truth, so at the end of every season, they will seize the trend and launch a crazy sale. The shopping malls are full of 10% sale, 20% off the word sale. Zhang Chen clearly remembered how proud he was when he came up with the 10% exchange rate. He never thought that this thing would come back to bite him one day. When everyone is competing in the exchange rate, they are no longer on the same playing field, but just on a flat land. Everyone runs freely in all directions. There is a starting point, but it does not matter the end point, because the flat land is there are cliffs all around, and the fast runner disappears quickly. The people behind him think he is in front, chase him desperately, and then disappear too. And those who haven't started running at the starting point still think it's all great. What worries Zhang Chen is that when all the brands on the market have exchange rates of 30% or 40%, can he still hold on to the 10%? Ma Ya from Shenyang and Guo Wentao from Harbin have already complained to him about the exchange rate issue. For the following general agents and franchise stores, of course they hope that the exchange rate will be as high as possible, preferably 100% exchange, but if that happens, Zhang Chen clearly knows that it will be a disaster for the company. You are equivalent to taking all the inventory of all stores across the country. At that time, the more brands you have franchised stores, it will no longer be your advantage. On the contrary, they will be a noose hanging above your head, and they will hang you at any time. When you are hanged, no one will sympathize with you. For the following customers, they can spend a little money to change the door and use a different brand. No matter how successful your brand is today, within 2 years it will first disappear from people's sight and then disappear from people's memory. Consumers are ruthless. Zhang Chen felt a little scared. He felt that this force was a bit menacing. It was very likely that in a short time, everyone would be racing on the exchange rate. From the current 30 to 40%, it would soon be so high that Zhang Chen chilling 100%. Zhang Chen knew in his heart that this day would come sooner or later. he just hoped that it would come slower and give himself some time to accumulate energy. But this is really not the case. If you expect it to slow down, it will slow down. Who are you? When irrationality becomes a torrent, rational people are always lonely. Thank you Ba Liang and Riri Shushu for the reward. Thank you Yuya and Ye Liang for your monthly votes. Thank you for all the votes and reading. Good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 766. Tan Shehen would pass by Zhang Chen's store almost every day. She was sitting in the Nissan van they drove. When passing by, she would sit up straight and look out attentively. She saw many people here every day, and she felt happy for Zhang Chen from the bottom of her heart. Tan Shehen hoped to see Zhang Chen outside the window, but was also very afraid of seeing Zhang Chen. The last time she and Shen Linlin came here, they almost met Zhang Chen. Fortunately, she escaped in time. She was not sure. She felt that Zhang Chen was also watching. Got to her. She has always had a good relationship with Zhang Chen. Even if she meets him, Zhang Chen will not do anything bad. But she is just afraid of meeting him. She feels that since the day she and Feng Logui got married, they have talked a lot about it. There is no way to explain clearly. Logically speaking, if something happened, it would be between her and Lu Ligan. But for some reason, Tan Shehen felt that she was more afraid of seeing Zhang Chen than Lu Ligan. Maybe it's because they have always had a good relationship and respect each other, so they pay great attention to their image in each other's eyes. Tan Shehen knows that both Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan must be very disappointed with themselves, but in comparison, Zhang Chen, the disappointment in herself seemed to make her feel even more uncomfortable. Maybe because of this, Tan Shehen was afraid of seeing Zhang Chen. She was afraid of seeing the deep disappointment behind him when he said hello with a smile. Zhang Chen would not show his disappointment on his face. Manager Mao asked from the side, "I heard that this is a store opened by us Yongcheng people, do you want to go down and have a look?" Tan Shehen always smiled and said, "No need, you guys, what are you going to see in a women's clothing store?" "Go ahead," President Mao said, "we'll wait in the car." Tan Shehen shook her head and said, "No need. I have been here before and they wear casual clothes and they cannot be worn at work." Manager Mao said, "Oh," and stopped insisting. In their bank, all counter employees must wear work clothes, and office staff are also issued uniforms, but they are not required to wear them. If you don't wear the bank uniform, you must wear more formal clothes, and Tan Shehen seems to be wearing it every day. Wearing bank uniforms. Xiao Su in the office protested, "Zhen Zhen, you are wearing work clothes and we are afraid to wear them." Tan Shehen smiled, but the next day, she still wore work clothes and went to work. Tan Shehen believes that since the company has issued clothes to you, it would be wrong for you not to wear them. Even when she came to Hangzhou this time, she was still wearing work clothes. They were in Hangzhou for 3 days years ago and did not go back until the 29th. They came up again on the second day of the Lunar New Year. Tan Shehen accompanied President Mao to pay New Year greetings. People from the provincial and municipal banks went there, and there were people from every unit. There are so many departments, and if any one of them is missing, it will offend people. During those 3 days, every day was a banquet. You would invite guests at noon and invite them in the evening. Banquets are also a matter of knowledge. You have to consider who should be invited at noon and who should be invited in the evening. Who should be invited at noon and who should be invited in the evening? Who can't sit at the same table with whom? Who has to sit at the same table with whom, and they have to deliberate. During those 3 days, they were so busy that when they passed by Zhang Chen's store, President Mao never said whether he wanted to go in and have a look. In the next few days after the New Year, every time he passed by this place, he would almost ask. They have been running around Hangzhou before and after New Year's Eve. The happiest thing is that the driver is old. He is from Hangzhou. When he was an educated youth, he went to Yongcheng to jump in line. Later he went to the bank to drive. The people who jumped in line with him, including his wife, all came from Yongcheng returned to Hangcheng. He did not return in his old age because he could not find a better unit than Yongcheng in Hangcheng. Besides, he works as a driver and often travels to Hangzhou, so he doesn't think it's a big deal that the couple live in two places. President Mao and Tan Shuhen will not go back, but they can go home every day in their old age, so he will be happy. Originally, Tan Shuhen felt that there was no need for President Mao to come after the New Year, because the New Year was mainly her business. They had served many presidents and vice presidents before retiring after mentioning the city bank. Their families had already moved. When you go to Hangzhou, you don't just go to Hangzhou to retire. Some of them live in Hangzhou after retirement. In the first month, Tan Shuhen will come to express condolences on behalf of her work unit and the labor union. But Tan Shuhen is, after all, just the vice chairman of the labor union, and that person is so badass that no one knows where he has gone. And these people are also very badass, and I'm afraid you won't be able to handle it. This is what President Mao told her. Tan Shuhen knew that the first one was really cool, referring to the vice president and labor union chairman who had been on sick leave for a long time. The latter one was really cool, referring to the successive presidents and vice presidents in Hangzhou. The former one, Tan Shuhen thought was really cool. Very well, the latter ones don't seem to be that difficult to deal with. Tan Shuhen went in with gifts. They were all polite. After leaving Yongcheng for so many years, they were very satisfied that Yongcheng ICBC still remembered them, and they said nothing else. Tan Shuhen knew in her heart that President Mao said that they were difficult to deal with and that he had to come in person. In fact, there were other reasons. This reason made Tan Shuhen feel a little uncomfortable. Tan Shuhen is not an idiot, how could she not know? Ever since she entered the industry, President Mao would often find various reasons to go on business trips to Hangzhou. And sometimes, even though everything had been done, President Mao would find excuses to say that he still had something to do the next day. Stay one more day in Hangzhou. Even the old man said cheerfully once that he went back to Hangzhou more often than before and that his wife had no objection to him staying at ICBC Yongcheng. When he was in the industry, President Mao was very careful not only to keep a distance from Tan Shuhen, but also to other women. Even if a woman came to his office and wanted to talk to him about something, he had to keep the door of his office open. Everyone in the industry knows that, and Tan Shuhen also knows that it is all because of Director Huang Linghua Huang, the daughter of Deputy County Magistrate Huang. In a small town, in a unit, rumors will spread faster than the wind, which angered Huang. Linghua, President Mao has to kneel on the washboard when he comes home. You, the president, are nothing. Even Deputy County Magistrate Huang would give up 3 points when he saw her daughter. This is something that almost half of the people in Yongcheng County know. When Tan Shuhen first entered the bank, teacher she reminded her in a subtle way, and Tan Shuhen knew it well. In the industry, Tan Shuhen is very attentive, and so is President Mao, so although they often have lunch together, go out for dinner, and have offices next to each other, President Mao is still a senior brother, and Tan Shuhen will often ask him questions, but everyone was careful to keep their distance, and there was no gossip about them at all. Every time Huang Linghua sees Tan Shuhen, she smiles like a flower. When she walks from the branch office of the Cultural Plaza to the store, and passes by the grocery store, she will bring some roasted chestnuts, pecans, torreya, or something to give to Tan Shuhen, or simply sit down with her. In Tan Shuhen's office, the two of them ate together. While Huang Linghua was eating, she was shouting, "Mao, A Mao manager Mao rushed over, and Huang Linghua asked him to eat together. Mr. Mao did not sit down every time. Instead, he stood and peeled two of them before going back. Huang Linghua and Tan Shahen are as good as sisters. This is something everyone in the industry knows, and no one dares to gossip about it. But when they arrived in Hangzhou, Tan Shahen felt that President Mao had changed. He drove President Mao and Tan Shahen to Kuning Hotel in his old age, and then he went home. Kuning Hotel is the administrative office of the Hangzhou City Government Agency. It is a guest house under the bureau. Almost all those who come to Hangzhou from the Yongcheng Government Agency on business stay here. It is not surprising to meet anyone from Yongcheng here. Tan Shahen and President Mao met Deputy County Magistrate Huang here. When Deputy County Magistrate Huang saw them, he just nodded from a distance and did not even come to say hello, and President Mao did not run over. At the Kuning Hotel, President Mao maintained his consistent style in the industry, walking with Tan Shahen in front and back. President Mao couldn't stay at Kuning Hotel. Kuning Hotel had a canteen and he didn't like eating here. Tan Shahen thought it tasted good. He said it tasted terrible. It was all pig food. He had to eat outside. Going outside was not a good idea. In front of Kuning Hotel is on Dongpo Road. There are many restaurants on the side, but President Mao has to go at least 5 streets away. Sometimes, even if I want to eat seafood for late-night snacks, I don't go to the Longxiang Kiao seafood stall, which is only 4 or 5 minutes away. Instead, I have to take a taxi to the Omi seafood stall in Sijiking. Of course, Tan Shahen understood that this was just to avoid the Yongcheng people in the Kuning Hotel, which made Tan Shahen feel a little uncomfortable and helpless. There are many things that cannot be revealed even if you see through them, especially if the other party is your leader. If the other party does not act directly, can you say, "Boss, don't you have any thoughts about me?" But Tan Shahen knew that President Mao did have thoughts about her. When taking a taxi, they don't sit in front of Kuning Hotel, but walk to Hubin Road. When the taxi comes, he will look left and right, and then instead of sitting in the passenger seat, he and Tan Shahen sit in the back seat of the taxi. Tan Shahen had no way to tell him, "Don't sit here." Tan Shahen could only shrink her body as far as possible, but she couldn't do it too obviously. As soon as the car started, Mr. Mao started to talk more, and he was full of witty remarks. He no longer said everything in a strict manner like he's axing, and his body language also became particularly abundant. From time to time, he would come and pat Tan Shahen's shoulders and thighs to accentuate his tone. The seemingly unintentional actions made Tan Shahen's hair stand on end and she couldn't help but frown. When we arrived at the dining place, President Mao was no longer President Mao, but more like Tan Shahen's little follower. He asked questions and asked questions. All the tastes were based on Tan Shahen's taste, and all choices were based on Tan Shahen's choice. I also have to help her carry her bag, help her get her clothes, help her pull out the chair, and scald the tableware with boiling water. While eating, he would stare at Tan Shahen naked and say some inappropriate words. He didn't shut up until he realized that Tan Shahen was frowning and it might be counterproductive if he continued. Tan Shahen often said, intentionally or unintentionally, that the elder sister Huang was the younger sister. The elder sister Tan Shahen was talking about was Huang Linghua. At the beginning, Mr. Mao's face would be a little unnatural, but later it didn't matter anymore. When Tan Shahen talked about it, he just looked at Tan Shahen and laughed, which made Tan Shahen feel bored. When President Mao suggested going out to eat, Tan Shahen also tried to shirk the idea, saying that she was not feeling well. That would be even more troublesome. President Mao would not only buy fruits, but also stay in Tan Shahen's room, asking for help and refusing to leave for a long time. After all, let's go to dinner. Although Tan Shahen felt a little unhappy, She was a woman after all, and women wanted to be coaxed and courteous to them, and this person was still in a high position, which made Tan Shahan feel somewhat proud. When a man coaxes a woman, even if the woman is disgusted at first, over time, she will get used to it and the habit will become natural. Besides, the food in the places Mr. Mao took her to was really delicious. Thanks for the tip, Ba Liang. Thank you Cup Guy API and Tang Wei for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 767. It was the first month of the year, and there were still several seafood stalls open in Omi. The weather was cold, so I ordered Tan Shahan's favorite steamed swimming crab. Manager Mao suggested drinking some wine, but Tan Shahan didn't refuse. Manager Mao asked the boss to bring 2 bottles. Add rice wine, heat, add shredded ginger and eggs, and serve hot. Jiafanjiu is glutinous rice wine, which has the function of harmonizing the blood and promoting qi. It is not as irritating to the throat as white wine. People in the troupe usually drink Jiafanjiu, including Tan Shahan's father, Lao Tan, who used to perform in the background. Put an enamel cup of wine with rice. Before going on stage, he is used to opening the lid of the cup and taking a sip of wine with rice before serving. He told Tan Shahan, otherwise he would feel short of breath. When President Mao ordered this drink, he could tell that he wanted to protect Tan Shahan. Tan Shahan thanked him for his kindness in her heart. Although the alcohol content of this wine is not high, after heating and adding shredded ginger and eggs, the heat is very high. After a while, the 2 of them felt hot all over the body, and the weather was not so cold anymore. Tan Shahan's face turned red, and while she was talking and smiling softly, she looked at Mr. Mao. His eyes were bright and talkative, and he looked particularly charming, which made Mr. Mao's heart tremble. It was past 10 o'clock when they came back from their late-night snack. As usual, President Mao asked the taxi driver to go to Hubin Road first. After he got off the car, he took Tan Shahan to Kuning Hotel. When they arrived at the lakeside, President Mao got out of the car. Unexpectedly, Tan Shahan also got out of the car. Tan Shahan and President Mao said, "We have eaten too much. Let's take a walk to digest." This was the first time Tan Shahan asked us what to do, and President Mao was overjoyed. It turned out that when they were together, President Mao always asked him to go here and there in a consultative tone. Tan Shahan either nodded and agreed, or said no, or said nothing and followed President Mao. Tan Shahan has never taken the initiative to propose something, and she also added one of us, which made President Mao feel that the relationship between the 2 people has become closer. It's past 10 o'clock in the winter evening, which is already very late. Especially in that era, when the brightness of the city was not as high as it is now, as soon as 9 o'clock passes, people will feel that the whole city has dimmed, and those who are still walking on the road people will involuntarily speed up their pace and rush home. There were almost no people on the edge of the West Lake, and the wind was freezing, but it was just right for 2 people who had just drank hot wine and were feeling hot all over. The 2 of them were walking by the lake. President Mao leaned towards Tan Shahan intentionally or unintentionally. Tan Shahan did not shrink to the side habitually. This made people subconsciously think that her body was the same as his own and was no longer suppressed, but longs for openness and acceptance. President Mao touched Tan Shahan's hand with his hand, but this time Tan Shahan's hand escaped. Although the 2 people were filled with emotions, they didn't know what to say. The 2 stood by the lake and silently looked at the dark West Lake in front of them for a while, then turned around and walked silently for a while. Tan Shahan pointed to the flower bed next to it. A terrazzo chair said, "Let's sit for a while." President Mao said yes. Tan Shahan was struggling in her heart. She didn't know if it was because of drinking. She felt that the atmosphere and state of the 2 of them were very good tonight. At such a time, it was very suitable for her to have a good and formal talk as she had prepared. Talk without hurting the peace. Therefore, when President Mao got off the bus at Lakeside, she got off the bus without thinking. After getting off the bus, she suggested taking a walk. After walking, she suggested taking a seat. President Mao was very close to her, and she did not avoid it. That was because she did not want to ruin the atmosphere between the two of them. If both of them were alert and could not continue to maintain such a relaxed state, the conversation would become stiff and they would not be able to reach each other. Tan Shahen has a good talk about the purpose. From the bottom of her heart, Tan Shahen still has a very soft part, a little sympathetic and pitiful for this man. Really, at this time, in Tan Shahen's eyes, President Mao is not President Mao, but a man, one of the many men who admire her. Tan Shahen has been in the eyes of such a man for a long time, and she is even used to it. This man was so painstakingly trying to please himself. In order to get him, he almost gave up his own dignity. His purpose was so obvious and his methods were so clumsy. Tan Shahen looked at it and felt a little funny and a little pitiful. No matter what, there is nothing wrong with people liking you. Tan Shahen knew that her next conversation would be a blow to this man. As if subconsciously to balance it, Tan Shahen did not refuse him to get close. But if her hand is held by him, it will give him a wrong signal. Tonight, the relationship between them will not be officially established, but will be over. Tan Shahen's nerves will be tense instantly. Just like that night, in the darkroom in Jinbo, for a short period of time, Tan Shahen really felt that her heart was melted. Her heart had been wrapped so tightly that it had a shell, but the lingering and tenderness in her heart was tenderness is still there. She is also a woman, needs love and needs to be loved. This need will often be transformed into a natural physiological reaction. At that moment, Tan Shahen really just wanted to open herself up freely. What a pleasant tenderness and enjoyment it was. It was not Jinbo who was looking for her. Tan Shahen felt that it was herself who was involuntarily looking for the blurry figure in the dim light. Man. If he had not continued to move and stayed still, Tan Shahen felt that the night might have been over. She would not stop. She would continue to search and explore him until her breathing became short and she released all her tenderness and sweetness. That night, it would really be the end. But he was too impatient. When his hand reached out to unbutton her, it was like a switch that clicked on. All the dim and fuzzy things became clear in that moment, and the entire real world became clear. The crowd came, and the rational Tan Shahen also came back. She slapped the other person and rushed out of the door. Everything between them ended here. When Tan Shahen was rational, she was very decisive, even a little cold, and would not leave any room for the other party to change. Tan Shahen and President Mao sat down on the chairs. Two grown men and women each have their own families. When talking, in addition to talking about things in the workplace, they will naturally talk about their own homes and children. Tan Shahen is not the kind of person who likes to talk about others behind their backs. Especially when talking to President Mao, it would seem like snitching, and Tan Shahen was naturally very resistant to such things. When talking about the work, and it doesn't involve people, there isn't much to talk about. Most of the topics between the two of them revolve around themselves. Tan Shahen spoke less and listened more. President Mao kept chattering that as long as a man is given time and necessary space, he will show his misery in front of the woman he likes. This is a man's way of showing his misery to the woman he likes. The way you pray and show your love, I am so pitiful that I need you to open your heart. Women always like hard things, such as men's shoulders, and men always like soft things, such as women's comfort. They talked about Huang Linghua, and President Mao sighed. He said that when you are young, people are always blind and will pursue things that are not actually important, such as status and future. For this, you will do whatever it takes. Really, I will even betray myself, That's what I am, don't laugh. But when I reached my current age, I realized that those things were actually illusory. Having a home where you can stay comfortably and being with a woman you like is the most important thing, really. My wife and children are hot on the Kong, but my wife is not warm. No matter how hot the Kong is, my body is scorched, but my heart is still cold. Tan Shahen's heart skipped a beat. She felt that President Mao was also talking about herself, wasn't he? Tan Shahen felt a little pity in her heart, not only for President Mao, but also for herself. Are you and Sister Huang really that bad? Tan Shahen asked. Do you think she will get better? President Mao asked back. Tan Shahen laughed softly. This smile was an expression of understanding, so there was no need to say more. Don't look at me, I look like a dog during the day, and I walk by one. My hair is long and my hair is short. It seems that my hair is omnipotent. But when I get home, I stand on the balcony and think about what to do next. There are still decades to go, and my heart is filled with darkness, and I even have the thought of jumping off the balcony, really. When President Mao said this, his voice was a little low. At this time, he was very eager for Tan Shahen's hand to reach over and hold his hand, but he didn't. President Mao reached out and held Tan Shahen's hand. Tan Shahen was stunned for a moment and put her hand in President Mao's hand, as if to comfort her. She paused for a while. When she felt that the other party's body was about to move, she immediately woke up and withdrew her hand. He gave way to the side. The movement was subtle, but the meaning of rejection was obvious. Manager Mao used so much force that his punch hit the cotton. He froze there in embarrassment. Elder brother, I have something to say to you. I hope you will listen and not be angry, okay? President Mao said yes. I'm very grateful to you for recruiting me to the bank, and thank you for always taking care of me. You are a good person, really. Tan Shahen paused and continued, I know you like me, but I want to be with you. What you said is that it is impossible between us. Why, am I older than you? Since the words have been opened up, there is nothing to avoid, President Mao asked. No, senior brother, I can't say that I like you, but I admit that I don't hate you either. This has nothing to do with age. The difference between us is only a dozen years. If we really love each other, it doesn't matter. What I said is impossible. Let's put it this way, if you don't have a home and I don't have a home, I think there will still be various possibilities between us, but now, it is absolutely impossible. I can get a divorce. But I won't divorce. As long as I'm not divorced, I won't do things that are unfair or unclear. As a person, whether I do things or be a person, I just like it. It's refreshing. I hope you can respect me, okay? As Tan Shahen spoke, she looked at President Mao. President Mao looked at her and hesitated to speak. Tan Shahen said. Besides, you can't get divorced. Don't lie to yourself. As long as Sister Huang doesn't want to divorce, you can't get divorced, right? You actually know it very well. President Mao was silent for a while and sighed. Eldest brother, I respect you very much. I think the relationship between a man and a woman, to put it harshly, is not just about sleeping together. I don't have a brother either. I hope you can always be my senior brother. Okay. Tan Shahen looked at President Mao and said sincerely that President Mao looked at her speaking eyes and found it difficult to refuse. He sighed and said, okay, I know what you mean. You mean, we can't be lovers, but we can be confidants, right? I can say that, do you agree? Tan Shahen smiled and looked at him mischievously, and President Mao nodded. Okay, that's settled. Tan Shahen breathed a sigh of relief. She stood up and reached out to President Mao. President Mao held her hand, but in his heart, why the hell did he still have the urge to pull her into his arms? The two people turned around and walked towards the Kuniying Hotel not far away. After having said the most difficult words, Tan Shahen felt indescribably happy and magnanimous in her heart, and her actions were not so rigid. When they arrived at the entrance of Kuning Hotel, Tan Shahen and Chairman Mao were still walking side by side. On the contrary, Mao Xinqiang shrank back. Thank you book friends 201906240913033541, 8 Liang, flipping through books every day, and Dal Tin Soldier for your rewards. Thank you Shifangxian and Tianying 1978 for your monthly votes. Thank you for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 768. They returned to Yongcheng, and after officially going to work, Tan Shahen and President Mao met again. The two of them talked, and their relationship became more natural. It was good that they buried the secret from each other. Huang Linghua came to Tan Shahen again and called Amao Amao. Amao ran over and stopped standing there. Instead, she would sit down, have something to eat and chat with them. Huang Linghua also invited Tan Shahen and Feng Logui to take their daughter to their home for dinner. Tan Shahen and Feng Logui went there. Once, there would be a second and third time. Sometimes Xiao Wu also went there, and Xiao Wu and Huang Linghua comes from the same village and was originally called Sister Huang Linghua. Now Feng Logui also calls her after Tan Shahen and Xiao Wu. Tan Shahen and the others did not have such conditions, so when they were entertaining guests at home, the two of them discussed that it was not good to always eat other people's food without any expressiveness from themselves, so they invited President Mao and Huang Linghua to eat at Jiexi Building, and Xiao Wu also Huang Linghua knew that they meant to return the invitation. They came, but she was very unhappy and cursed. What's going on with you two? Do you have a lot of money? You can eat by yourself, why come here? If you want to invite my sister and your brother-in-law to dinner, come to your house and invite them. Xiao Wu was laughing beside him. The next time, on a Sunday, they actually went to the market to buy vegetables. Xiao Wu also took the wild boar belly that someone else had given him for hunting to President Mao's house. They all cooked and ate together, and had a great time. This has become something they often do. Huang Linghua didn't have many friends before. After having dinner together frequently, although President Mao looked at Tan Shahen, his heart still felt a little painful, but Huang Linghua was also a little bit fond of him. With his eyebrows lowered and his eyes lowered, the atmosphere at home was much better than before, and President Mao was also quite pleased. There are often all kinds of strange game in Xiao, either wild boars, muntjacs, pheasants, or the fat-headed fish weighing more than 20 kilograms each in Qiandao Lake and the dried-up fish in the countryside below. The eel with thick arms was caught from the mud pond after 10 years. Anyway, when someone gets something good, they will think of Xiao Wu and send it over. In the past, Xiao Wu had no place to make it, so he pushed it away. Now Xiao Wu invites the couple to go to Huang Linghua's house to cook it and eat it. It's like a small group, and the leader of this group is Huang Linghua, who decides everything. Gradually, President Mao became their brother-in-law. Even in the industry, Tan Shahen was called President Mao's brother-in-law. She no longer called him president or senior brother, but was called President Mao's brother-in-law. When they are together again, they were laughing and joking affectionately. They didn't mind it, and it was normal for others to see it. The relationship between the two of them was actually closer than before. As soon as the 15th day of the first lunar month passed, it was the end of February. Tan Shahen suddenly became nervous. She calculated that May was coming soon, and time passed very quickly. In May, Tan Shahen had to take a self-study exam, and more importantly, she had to take the Kahwa Cup Provincial Young Singer Grand Prix is also the preliminaries of CCTV's Young Singer Grand Prix. This is the most important thing for Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen discussed with teacher Shi whether she should stop singing in the song and dance hall at night, and teacher Shi also agreed. After all, participating in the Kahwa Cup is also one of the most important tasks of their county cultural center, and it is written down for the year. Regarding the work plan, even the Hangzhou City Art Museum is very optimistic about Tan Shehen. Tan Shehen didn't go for 3 days, and the dancers who often went to the song and dance hall quit. Finally, teacher Shi came to discuss with Tan Shehen. She said it was either this or the first half and the second half. You would come here every night to practice singing anyway. After practicing the songs, I would go up and sing 3 songs and then go home. It would not be too late and I would still have time to read when I got home. This is also good for you. Firstly, you can practice what you have practiced every day and try it out on stage. Secondly, when you go on stage every day, when you are tired, you will not be nervous when you go on stage. Tan Shehen remembered how nervous she was when she participated in the Sanjiang Cup. Oh my God, I can't be like this anymore when it comes to the provincial competition. Tan Shehen said yes. Next, Shen Linlin sang on it every night, and when she caught sight of Tan Shehen coming up, no matter how energetically she sang, no matter how good her condition was, she had to pause after singing the song, and then she had to give up the stage to Tan Shehen, who had finished singing 3 songs. Just go home, Shen Linlin has to take over the stage. Every day, this is the saddest and most embarrassing time for Shen Linlin. After Tan Shehen finished singing, the people below were still not satisfied. She continued to sing, and everyone below them looked at her with disdain and disdain. It was obviously Tan Shehen who wanted to leave, but it seemed that she was leaving. She, Shen Linlin, drove her away. Who did I offend? Why the hell am I so unlucky? Shen Linlin had to sing several songs very hard before the atmosphere down there would get better. Their faces improved, but Shen Linlin was so angry that when she saw teacher she didn't have a good face. If Yongcheng didn't only have such a place, it would be okay, let herself enjoy it, she would have stopped doing it a long time ago. Teacher Shi also discovered this problem and immediately adjusted it. After Tan Shehen sang 3 songs every night, she would arrange for a man to sing 2 songs first, and then let Yudianwu and the others sing Oh, Susanna, or Rose, Rose, I Love You and California Dream. Only then did Shen Linlin pick them up, which finally relieved Shen Linlin's embarrassment. Tan Shehen sang 3 songs every night, but she still got the subsidy. Shen Linlin sang 3 songs all night, but she was not as good as Tan Shehen's 3 songs. Shen Linlin was not convinced, so she went to encourage them, saying that we work hard every day, why is it that the one who gets the most subsidy is she? Shen Linlin wanted to make a fuss about Yudianwu and the others, and went to teacher Shi's place to cause trouble. Unexpectedly, Yudianwu and the others were so ignorant that they not only didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but thought it was normal. Tan Shehen is a big name, aren't all big names like this? When Donghua came to the art festival, didn't he just sing 3 songs and then leave, taking the most money? You, Shen Linlin, also sang 3 songs, how much did she give you? Yudianwu and Shen Linlin said, it's normal. If you are the pillar, of course you have to get the most. What? She is the pillar, so who are we? Shen Linlin shouted. Yi Yuo gave her a white look and walked away. You have to think about it yourself. This made Shen Linlin almost furious. Here Tan Shehen became a pillar and went to the industry. Now Tan Shehen is called Huang Linghua, no longer Director Huang, but sister, and President Mao has become brother-in-law. God, will I, Shen Linlin, still have my days in the spotlight? No one cared about Shen Linlin's chicken belly. In the past few days, there was another thing that made Yongcheng people talk about it for a while, that is, Ding Begu, the deputy director of the Cultural Bureau, married Su Jianmei from the Wu Opera Troupe. Everyone knows Su Jianmei, Ding Begu, if you want to, you can. Every day you go to the cultural building in the cultural square to watch, and you see a thin old man. Ding Begu looks older than his actual age, a dark grey tunic suit, even the style buckle is buttoned tightly. The few sparse hairs on the top of the head were meticulously circled around the top of the head, making the hair look a little more. You see such a person, riding on a 28-inch permanent bicycle that is disproportionate to his body. That is Ding Begu. Someone really went there specifically to see who Ding Begu was. This was too curious. Su Jianmei, a well-known figure in Yongcheng, was pretty good looking. How could she marry an old man? Go and see who that old man is. How can he be so charming? Ding Begu also benefited from this and became a famous figure. Ding Begu seemed to know that he had become a news figure. He was riding in the car with a happy face and straight neck. Everything went as he expected. As expected, people focused on the ages of him and Su Jianmei. In terms of difference, this is not a disgraceful thing for a man, but rather like wearing a big red flower on his chest. Even the leading comrades, especially Director Li from the propaganda department of the County Party Committee, would call him Old Ding from afar when they saw him on their way to and from get off work. Ding Begu quickly got out of the car and approached. Minister Li would ask with concern, "Old Ding, how are you doing recently?" Minister Li was a projectionist for a film company in his early years. He lived in the dormitory of the film company. He had to pass through the cultural square every day when commuting to and from get off work, and he would often run into Ding Begu. Ding Begu quickly said, "Okay, exercise every day, Minister Li." Minister Li patted Ding Begu on the shoulder, smiled, and passed. Tan Shahen was the only one who thought of a question. She and Feng Logui went to drink the wedding wine of Ding Begu and Su Jianmei and came back. Tan Shahen was sitting there in a daze. Feng Logui saw it and asked, "What are you thinking about?" "Lao Gui, tell me, when did Ding Begu and Su Jianmei get together?" Tan Shahen asked in a daze. "How do I know? They won't report it to me," Feng Logui said. "No, Logui, I think you and Teacher Li were both fooled. This Su Jianmei must have been in love with Ding Begu before the art festival. Otherwise, when did Ding Begu ever care about the affairs of the group?" Feng Logui was stunned, and his heart skipped a beat. It was really possible. It looked like Su Jianmei was really not that simple. In order to get rid of Tan Shahen, she not only got into Ding Begu, but also dragged herself into the room. Did it happen? When had Ding Begu ever cared about the affairs of the group? When had Su Jianmei ever been so proactive towards him? After the art festival, don't you stop being proud of yourself? This time is too coincidental. No, Logui, I think the list change was a partnership between the two of them, don't you think so? Tan Shahen stared at Feng Logui and asked. Feng Logui felt guilty and quickly said, "I don't know." "How do I know?" He took the wash basin and walked out. When he walked to the bathroom, he remembered, hey, so he also hummed the director's wife. Thinking of this, Feng Logui became excited. In a small town, if everyone knows about something new, it will come to an end and will be forgotten immediately. You only need to tell people, "Do you know that Su Jianmei from the Wu opera troupe?" You know, the other person interrupted you and there is no way to continue the conversation. Even Ding Begu himself felt that this matter should be over and that it was about to turn into his past glory. Unexpectedly, one wave of unrest came up again, causing the matter between him and Su Jianmei to become lively in Yongcheng for a while. The male and female protagonists are still Ding Begu and Su Jianmei. An important role added is Lao Meng from the Federation of Literary and Art Circles. A couplet spread in Yongcheng overnight. Everyone said that this couplet was from when Ding Begu and Su Jianmei got married. Meng gave it to them. The couplet is, "A new couple, two old machines." Haha, this Ding Begu is an old machine. Everyone knows that he is older than his 28-inch permanent bicycle. But this Su Jianmei, isn't it said that it is a yellow flower girl? Why is it old? What everyone is most concerned about is, who made her look old? Could it be that Lao Meng knows something inside? The big red flower on Ding Begu's chest instantly turned into a cuckold on his head. He was so angry that he really wanted to go to Lao Meng and ask him, "What the hell are you writing? You just want to have trouble with me? Yes or no?" The most unjust one is Lao Meng. What the hell is going on? These two people know each other, but they are not familiar with each other. When they got married, they didn't call me and they didn't go. Many people came to tell Lao Meng, talk, talk. Lao Meng said aggrievedly, "What the hell did I say? I didn't go to their wedding at all." So, someone immediately said that it was because they were married and not named Lao Meng that Lao Meng wrote such a couplet. This time, Lao Meng couldn't explain it even more clearly. The most nervous person was Feng Logui. The whole city was asking who turned Su Jianmei into an old machine. Feng Logui felt that the way Su Jianmei looked at him was not good. "This is going to eat me. Thank you for the reward, Ba Liang, ranked third from top to bottom. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 769. On the night of the 8th day of the Lunar New Year, Chu Tianlin set up 6 tables in Jinyuan of Hangcheng Building, mainly to treat their clients to dinner and thank them for their support over the past year. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan were both friends of Chu Tianlin and clients. Lu Ligan's several project booklets, and Zhang Chen's picture albums for the 4 seasons were all printed by Chu Tianlin, so the two of them also went. Zhang Chen saw an old friend here, Mr. Ni from Qiqiao. Chu Tianlin arranged them at the same table, not only because Mr. Ni and Zhang Chen were familiar with each other, but also because Mr. Ni had something to discuss with Lu Ligan. Talk. The brochure for Lu Ligan's splendid Jiangnan project was designed by Zhang Chen and printed by Chu Tianlin and others. Mr. Ni came to Chu Tianlin's place that day and happened to see the printed brochure delivered to him. He heard Chu Tianlin introduce it, and he was very interested in this project. Very interested. Chu Tianlin's customers, who were also potential customers of Lu Ligan, were willing to spend a lot of money to print high-end printed matter. At that time, they were all very profitable units. They also cared about the image of their company. Chu Tianlin simply asks Xiaoan to print the high-end printed matter. Lu Ligan and his colleagues distributed the brochure of splendid Jiangnan to everyone. Chu Tianlin also told them that from now on, we will move here, and if everyone comes to find us, they will go to the office building here. Chu Tianlin also asked Lu Ligan to introduce the situation of their office buildings, and focused on how the office mortgages of Shenzhen Angzhen Trust Co., Limited were done. Mortgage was a new thing at that time. Everyone had never been exposed to it before. Now I heard that as long as you spend 20% of the money and pay the equivalent of renting an office building in a hotel every month, you can get your own office building. This way it's a good thing that many people are interested and have expressed their intention to order. Mr. Ni originally intended to buy or rent an office building to serve as the office of the foreign trade company affiliated to his company. Since the foreign trade company was located in the Qiqiao factory, it was difficult to recruit salesmen, so he simply separated the foreign trade company and established it in Hangzhou. He walked around Hangzhou but couldn't find any office buildings to buy, so he turned to Chu Tianlin to see if he was renting office buildings in Hangcheng Building like Chu Tianlin and others. When I got here, I heard Chu Tianlin talk about Lu Ligan's project, and I wanted to buy it. Now I heard about the mortgage that could be obtained for this project, and asked Lu Ligan that the price of the office building was 2,811 square meters. This price was already sky high in Hangzhou at that time, but because there was a mortgage and only a small one-time payment was required as a down payment, Everyone felt that it was not that expensive. The determination of the price of 2,810 square meters was also the result of discussions between Mr. Chiao, Mr. Yang, and Ying Ying. Ying Ying believes that since in the survey, so many people can accept the price of 2,000 to 2,099, and so many people can even accept the price of 3,000 to 4,099, then we will accept the price of 2,000 to 2,099. The upper limit of the price of 1,009 is set at 2,080. In this way, there will be no problem for those who choose more than 3,000. And for those who can accept 2,000 to 2,019, because they can get a mortgage, they can definitely accept it. Maybe some of them who chose 1,000 to 1,019 at that time will also accept it. They choose 1,000 to 1,019. When they were 1,019 years old, they started from their actual ability and did not consider the mortgage factor. Now that the conditions have changed, their choices will definitely change. Mr. Chiao and Mr. Yang agreed with Ying Ying's analysis. Mr. Chiao and Lu Ligan said that this little girl has a very clear mind. If you don't reuse her, Mr. Lu, I will poach her to Shenzhen. Mr. Yang also said that the price is very good. According to their experience abroad, these office buildings are actually similar in terms of architectural form and cannot be very different. Whether an office building is high-end or not depends on 2 points. The first is look at your price. Your price prevents many people from getting in. This is not only your disadvantage, but an advantage. Lu Ligan remembered that Chu Tianlin had already expressed this meaning. That princess can be approached by anyone? Mr. Yang then added, there is another very important thing about this office building that you must remember, Mr. Lu, and that is your future management level. The management level of your office building is high. After 10 years of use, this old building still looks like for new buildings, the price will still increase by 10% every time you change hands. If management is not in place, within 5 years, your building will become a garbage building. It will be too late for everyone to escape outside, and who will dare to come in? Therefore, your management team in the future is very important. I have seen many buildings in China and have not realized this. They spend their energy on how to build rather than how to manage. They think that as long as they build high-end, this office building must be high-end. Lu Ligan kept nodding. He felt that he had learned something again. It was true that he had always thought of hiring the best design company when designing such important projects as Haikan and Jinghai International Financial Center. But I have never thought about how to build the best management company in the future. Not only him, but Sun Ho and the others had never thought that, logically speaking, they would have more contacts with foreign countries. Mr. Yang then told Lu Ligan that this office building is different from a residential building. Don't worry too much about selling it. Don't say, I'd better sell it all at once. Don't think so. You can put it there and take your time. For sale, you can rent and sell at the same time, as long as the rent can cover your capital cost. As I said before, as long as your management is in place, the price of your office building will continue to rise. What do you have to worry about when you hold it in your hand? While you are collecting rent, the house is still rising. You will benefit from both ends, right? Will you die from laughing? Mr. Chiao also said that it is said that management produces benefits, and I think this is best reflected in the management of office buildings. As Mr. Yang said, if management is good, the benefits will be tangible. The properties are rising and the collateral is there. Value added is the same even if you stay with us. If you borrowed 800 yuan last year, if I refinance this year, I can give you 1000 yuan. Lu Ligan nodded and said, I really learned something. Mr. Ni originally wanted an office building of 600 square meters. Now he has decided to take the 1,480 square meters on the 28th floor of Tower A. He will sign the agreement and pay the down payment tomorrow. When will the people from Shenzhen come over? You can go through the procedures. Mr. Ni has decided here, and the others can't sit still. There is no duplication in this building. If someone else takes the floor you want first, you won't be able to change it again if you want it. On the spot, and 6 or 7 people jumped out and said to Lu Ligan, Mr. Lu, then we will go to your place tomorrow to sign the agreement and ask people from Shenzhen to come over and complete all our procedures together in one trip. Lu Ligan said okay, everyone is welcome, thank you, thank you. Mr. Ni asked about Zhang Chen's current situation and was very emotional. He said, your Yan'an Road store, I heard Xiao Chu say it was yours that day. I ran over to take a look, but unfortunately I didn't see you. Take a look, it's just past. How long has it taken you to do such a decent job? You are really a formidable young person. Alas, it seems that we are all old and can't keep up. However, after what happened last time, I told Xiao Chu that you will definitely be able to accomplish great things in the future. Lao Ni, am still very good at judging people. Zhang Chen quickly said, thank you, Mr. Ni, for causing you trouble last time. What trouble, Mr. Ni said with a smile, you are the one who is wronged. You are such a rotten coward. It gives me a headache just to look at you. The three of them raised their glasses and drank. Mr. Ni asked Zhang Chen, by the way, is Mr. Lu the friend who does real estate in Hainan as you told me before? Zhang Chen is right. Mr. Ni sat up straight and became interested. He must ask Lu Ligan to introduce the situation in Hainan. Everyone said that it was very miserable there, but no one could explain clearly. What happened in Hainan? Lu Ligan told Mr. Ni about Hainan. Mr. Ni shouted, look, is it true? I almost went to Hainan. If so, would I not be able to find a grave even if I cry? He turned around, patted Zhang Chen on the shoulder and said, Xiao Zhang, it's thanks to you that I didn't go. Zhang Chen asked curiously, Mr. Ni, what's wrong with me? Mr. Ni looked at Zhang Chen and couldn't help laughing. You have probably forgotten what you said to me. What you said to me scared me. When I came to find you that day, I had actually booked a flight from Shanghai to Haikan, and it turned out that as soon as you chatted, you quickly refunded the ticket. Those friends of mine scolded me at the time, but later thanked me. If I didn't go, they didn't have the confidence to go, so they didn't go. Lu Ligan also laughed, that's really a narrow escape from death, Zhang Chen, why have I never heard you say that? Zhang Chen vaguely remembered that he and Mr. Ni had a chat about Hainan real estate, but he didn't know that there were so many things behind it. Mr. Ni relayed what Zhang Chen said to him that day to Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan shouted, Zhang Chen, that's good. This analysis is at the level of Mr. Han. Why didn't you share these words with me? Lao Meng said, if you tell us, Lao Meng and I might be able to escape from danger. Zhang Chen looked at him and asked, at that time, could you listen to anything? Lu Ligan thought about it seriously and chuckled. He had to admit that at that time, even if his and Meng Ping's legs were broken, they would still rush forward. After the dinner, Lu Ligan drove his car to the Zongbei Bridge with Zhang Chen. The two got out of the car and leaned on the bridge railing, smoking. Looking at the spring factory in the dark, Lu Ligan said, damn it, just one meal and several thousand square meters were sold. It looks like there will be a good harvest this year. Zhang Chen smiled and said, this year has just begun, you already know there will be a good harvest? It seems that you are really good at building houses. Unlike us, we depend on the sky for food and are trembling every day. If the spring clothes are selling well, we have to worry about what to sell in the summer. If the summer sales are good, we will immediately feel that autumn is coming. One day can't stop either. Lu Ligan said, it is said that everything is difficult at the beginning. If you start well at this end, the rest will not be much worse. Zhang Chen, you have a good start at the beginning. Don't worry, you will be fine this year. Hope so. Zhang Chen said in his heart. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 770. As soon as the 15th day of the first lunar month passed, Zhang Mushan's construction team entered the splendid Jiangnan construction site and started construction. The Xiaoyiming food factory had been built. Lao Fan and the others were moving one after another. After the move, the house on Ma Cheng Road all will be demolished, and the construction of the last few houses of splendid home will begin. Zhang Mushan's construction company was divided into two, one in Jingxiu Jiangnan and the other in Jingxiu Homeland. Hangcheng Jingxiu Dadi Construction Engineering Co., Limited under Laowan expanded to more than 100 people after the Spring Festival. Divided into two, one group is in Sanbeo Zhangchen Factory, and the other group enters the splendid Xiangting project. In Sanbeo Factory, the factory building has been built, and the office building and dormitory have also been built to the second floor. The original factory building has been moved to the new factory building. Even the distribution center has been temporarily moved to the new factory building. The original distribution center and the building the mudroom was demolished and work began on a new distribution center. Here at splendid Xiangting, according to the plan, the four buildings on the side of Jiangguo North Road will be built first. Laowan and his colleagues are responsible for building these four buildings. They have 6 floors and they already have experience. The first and second floors of Jingxiu Xiangting facing the street are all storefront rooms. The layout is the same as the house Wei Venfang and the others rented in Sijiking. The first floor is a storefront, and the second floor can be used as a residence, office, or warehouse. Such a layout of storefront rooms was the most popular at the time. Before they started construction, many merchants who made aluminum alloy profiles, plastic steel doors, windows, and steel products came to buy them. Entering from Jiangguo North Road is the area with the largest number of steel dealers. Many dealers want to come out and grab the position in this opening. Plastic steel doors and windows and aluminum profiles were both new building materials at that time. It was not that their products had just come out, but that the market demand had just arisen. Lu Ligan and the others were the largest customers of plastic steel doors and windows, so of course they wanted to seize the market here. Shop. As a result, more than 20 shops on Jiangguo North Road were sold out, and half of the houses upstairs were sold. Most of the people who came to buy houses came from Dadiaguan, and were operators of the steel market and second-hand machinery and equipment market, which verified that Yingying's investigation at that time was very accurate. Lu Ligan handed over all the sales work to Yingying, and asked her to recruit people, go to the site to set up sales departments one by one, appointed Fan Jiangguo as the company's vice president, and sent him to Hong Kong. Mr. Han helped him contact in a property management company. Lu Ligan sent Fan Jiangguo to study and train. When he came back, he would set up their splendid Jiangnan management company. Of course Fan Jiangguo was overjoyed to be able to go to Hong Kong for 3 months. Lao Fan was also very happy. He thought Lu Ligan was a good guy. He really trained his son as a talent. The vice president of Lu Ligan's company was comparable to him. The director of a food factory is so awesome. Wen Wen and Qian became Lu Ligan's 24-hour assistants, following him almost all day long. After the Chinese New Year, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao took the road test. They passed it in one try and got their driver's licenses quickly. After getting their driver's licenses, they bought 2 cars. Xiao Zhao, like He Hongmei, was also a Xiaoli, but she was white. Zhang Chen also bought a Santana, but he bought a dark blue Santana station wagon with a high butt and no trunk. The back of this car has a lot of space and can be used as a tool cart. Zhang Chen thinks that he can travel to Tianjin Road, Yan'an Road, and Sanbeo, and he can also bring some goods along the way. Lu Ligan regretted seeing it. He said, if I had known this, I would have bought this one. With such a big space, I can put a bed in the back and put these 2 guys in the back. Get out, Wen and Qian cursed in unison. Spring is here, everything is reviving, and everything is thriving as far as the eye can see. Both Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan are very busy. Zhang Chen feels that this is really what Lu Ligan said, and it is a good start. After getting in the car, Zhang Chen felt that his activity space had suddenly expanded infinitely. What used to feel like a faraway place has now become a matter of stepping on the accelerator. He can go to the West Lake anytime, anywhere, drive to the Qiantang River anytime, anywhere, roll down all the windows, and he turned his chair over and lay down, letting the cool spring breeze, with a bit of chilly spring chill, fill his car. When night fell, Zhang Chen drove to the entrance of Wanghu Hotel, stopped the car, and looked across. Here, the Esprit store has just opened, and there are a lot of people inside. It can be said to be a sea of people. Zhang Chen has been here for 3 days, and the situation has been the same for 3 days. Although Esprit's clothing style is completely different from his own, a large part of its customer age group overlaps with his own, which will divert his attention. Part of the customer base. Isn't it normal for young people in their 20s who don't have much money in their pockets to buy something here to buy something from you? Esprit entered the mainland in 1992. The first store was opened in Beijing. It was unsuccessful and sales were average. They then moved to Shanghai. In early 1993, they opened their store on Huihai Middle Road in Shanghai and it was a great success. Zhang I took a special train to Shanghai in the morning to see it. There were huge crowds of people, just like the scene in front of me. Zhang Chen thought at the time that this might bring an Esprit whirlwind, but he didn't expect that they would be so quick and have now expanded their sphere of influence to Hangzhou. Zhang Chen got out of the car and walked into the crowded crowd on the opposite side. He found that almost all the people here were locals from Hangzhou who spoke Hangcheng dialect, and almost no one over 30 years old was seen. This was compared with the young brand, the age range is larger, and almost half of the customers in its store are customers from other places. Zhang Chen looked at its products, and he immediately realized that the Xiaomei brand that had the greatest impact on him should be the Xiaomei brand, especially Laotang's cultural shirts and knitted sweaters. Zhang Chen left Wanghu Hotel and went to his own store on Yan'an Road. The number of people here has not decreased. The city is big enough and there are enough people to accommodate several specialty stores operating at the same time. Zhang Chen walked into Xiao Zhao's office and asked Xiao Zhao to show him the business reports of the past few days. He asked Xiao Zhao, "Do you feel that the sales have decreased in the past few days?" "No, why do you ask this?" Xiao Zhao asked back. Zhang Chen shook his head without saying a word. He looked at the sales. Sure enough, there was no decrease. It seemed to have increased. But looking at Laotang's sales, Zhang Chen took a breath. His judgment was correct. Laotang's, as expected, the product dropped significantly, and the drop started on the second day after the Esprit store opened. It seems that many changes are happening without your knowledge, and by the time you notice, everything will become out of control. Zhang Chen immediately picked up the phone and called Old Tang. Old Tang arrived after more than 10 minutes. Zhang Chen told him the matter. Old Tang was shocked. He and Xiao Zhao looked at the report and found that it was indeed what Zhang Chen said. Not only was Old Tang's sales of products, as well as several franchised brands and clothing brands targeting young people in their 20s, have also declined to varying degrees. The store's total turnover increased instead of falling. This was caused by the weather starting to get warmer, the sales of spring clothing entering the peak season, and the sales of other clothing increasing. Logically speaking, Old Tang and the others should also increase accordingly. Old Tang stood up and said, "I'll go over and take a look right away." Zhang Chen agreed, and he told Xiao Zhao to notify the bosses of those brands and come over for a meeting immediately. "Now." "Yes, now." Xiao Zhao said yes, and she immediately called out. When the bosses of these brands came over, Old Tang also came back. He looked at Zhang Chen and shook his head. Zhang Chen told them the matter. Everyone felt it was very serious. Zhang Chen said, "Old Tang, you just went have a look, tell me what you think." Old Tang said, feeling like he was slapped in the head, "Go to hell." Zhang Chen looked at them and said, "In fact, competition has existed for a long time, but it is not so obvious. No brand can bring together so many popular elements and present them suddenly. The visual oppression this causes is different. But there is no way to avoid this. Today is Esprit, and tomorrow there will definitely be other brands, and the competition will only become more and more intense." Old Tang nodded and said, "It looks like the good days are over." "Yes, the good days are over, but the good days have just begun," Zhang Chen said. "Your original problem is that you are assimilating, reading some foreign language materials, reading some original clothing books, relying on your own beauty. Those who graduate from colleges and engineering colleges can see things that others cannot see from the school library and teachers, and borrow many elements from them, right?" Zhang Chen asked. They all lowered their heads and said nothing. Only Lao Tang said honestly that he meant so. Now he feels that his brain is deteriorating and he is not as attentive as when he first started making clothes. "Yes, it's not just you, I am the same. We all make clothing. There is no shame in saying it. We have all come this way. I am the same. When I first started designing, I relied on 3 treasures. Which 3 treasures, Rulai? If you don't look through the catalogs of World Fashion Garden and Milan Fashion Festival every day, you will feel uninspired. Sometimes when I feel like it's going well, I'll come up with random styles. Looking back, I realize that many of the elements are still from the book." When Zhang Chen said this, everyone laughed. They felt that what Zhang Chen said was really a true portrayal of them. But those days have passed. We were looking for elements from books, and people came directly from overseas. People have long been tired of seeing the things we can see. We follow behind and try to figure out how to get ahead. Mr. Zhang, in one sentence, you have many ideas, just tell us what we should do," Old Tang shouted. "Use your brains to dig out your true personality. Not only do you need to be different from them, but we also need to be different from each other. Only in this way will the entire store be enriched. If you want to find elements for reference, you can't find them with them." Elements. Zhang Chen looked at Old Tang and said, "Old Tang, think about it. When you design the Westlake 10 Treasures packaging box or even the Ben Mushin basketball team uniforms, the idea was very good. Everyone studied art, so they should all. Everyone knows Su Bing, everyone knows Gu Wenda, who is still your senior brother from Zhejiang and the United States. He is now living abroad, and foreigners are very good at it. What do you rely on?" Su Bing made forged calligraphy prints of Book of Heaven, and Gu Wenda combined calligraphy and ink painting. This is an element that foreigners don't have, and they can't be learned even if they want to, so they feel very fresh. "I understand, Zhang Chen, give me a blow and I'll be enlightened," Old Tang shouted. Someone laughed and said, "Old Tang, you were hit in the head with a slap in the face, and now you are hit in the head. Are you full of trouble today?" Old Tang glared at him and said, with a bruised nose and a swollen face, "It's okay as long as you're alive. If you don't use your brain, I'm afraid you'll die. Brothers, get to work." The next day, Zhang Chen drove to Shanghai. Xiaoli called Zhang Chen several times and suggested that they open a specialty store in Shanghai. In this way, the specialty store can also become a warehouse that distributes goods to every shopping mall. With the savings, our clothing reputation can be built up, and the sales staff will have more room for deployment. Zhang Chen thinks Xiaoli's suggestion is very good. He Hongmei opened her eyes wide and asked, "You, a newbie, want to drive from Hangzhou to Shanghai?" Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Why, it can't work." No, it's too unsafe. I'll go with you." Lu Ligan, Lao Wan, and Xiao Shen were all busy and couldn't leave. He Hongmei was the only one who really wanted to drive to Shanghai with Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "No, I don't know how many days it will take to go this time. Don't you want to go to Sijiking to deliver goods? The stall at home is waiting for your goods. I'll go alone. Just drive slowly. Besides, aren't all mobile phones connected to the internet now? If something happens along the way, I'll call you adults for help." When Zhang Chen said this, He Hongmei and Xiao Zhao had no choice but to let him go. Zhang Chen drove from Hangzhou to Shanghai alone, holding his breath in his heart. He thought, "Okay, if you take a taxi from Shanghai to Hangzhou, then I will take a taxi from Hangzhou to Shanghai. Whoever wins, we will see you on the battlefield." The imaginary enemy he was angrily facing was Esprit. "Thank you for 8 taels, third from top to bottom, baby tin soldier, for the reward. Even if you ask me, I don't even know. Thank you Shi Jiangshan for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you a nice weekend."